there was a dysfunctional dynamic, and Phillips wanted nothing to do with DC.
So you make a DC movie, but you want nothing to do with DC.
Yeah. Yep.
Interesting. So, and you make a movie called The Joker about somebody that's not the Joker,
Right.
but you introduce the Joker at the end by killing off the person that we have been calling the Joker for the past 2 movies.
Exactly.
Ah.
And then you come out and say the reason why you don't like the movie, Agent, is because you thought you were going to see the Joker character. Well, who the fuck named the movie Joker?
Right.
Why didn't you just make a movie about a guy named Tom who was crazy? All right. Welcome to Only Comics. I'm Mike. This is Adrian.
What up, man?
What's up, bro?
This is my favorite time of the year.
It is,
This is my most marvelous time of the year.
Oh shit! I see what you did there.
Oh yeah, you saw that?
It is pretty marvelous outside.
Yes, it is.
We're not even on agree to disagree, but I would agree with that.
There you go.
It's marvelous as a motherfucker out there.
Nice and brisk. It's like the air just comes and like cleans up everything.
Yeah.
That cool air just comes in and just cleans up everything. I love it, dude. The leaves are changing. It's gonna be a good time.
Yep. Now, we're gonna have to change our pops here because we got slides on and shorts, dude.
Right?
I mean, I still got my slides, but I'm a slides and socks kind of guy too. I'm okay with that.
I'm good. Just throw on like a little light jacket or something. Maybe some flannel, flannel shirt.
Flannel.
Keep the shorts and the slides.
Okay.
Just throw some flannel on top.
There you go. Now there's a percentage of the population out there that, let's just say, they frown upon people that wear socks with their slides. Adrian, would you believe that?
Okay, that goes on my shelf of I don't care.
Exactly, because I'm gonna wear them motherfuckers as long as I want to,
Exactly.
But anyways, dude, we got a lot going on, a lot of news this week. And we were talking about the Joker last week, Joker 2, right?
Yeah.
Which I still have not gone to see. Now I've read so much about it, and I've seen so many clips. It's almost like I saw the movie on TikTok.
Dude, everything I've seen. I mean, I don't go out of my way, so the things that I do consume, you might see like a Joker, like a thumbnail, and it's all bad, dude.
Right.
So
and one of the biggest things, we're going to talk about this later, but the director, Todd Philips, has come out and said that Joaquin Phoenix's character, the Joker, is not the Joker. He's not the Joker. He's just a dude. And the whole, it's when they try to be a little too artsy, a little too cute, a little like, this guy's not the Joker, but this is what could happen to someone who lives in Gotham, who has mental health issues and blah, 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 blah. So it just confirms, I guess, my original prediction or my original question that I had was, who's asking for this?
And what did I say last week? The blame game.
Yeah.
Either the actor is going to shit on the movie or the director is going to come out with some bullshit.
Yep.
And here we go.
That, we're not smart enough to understand his vision. How about your vision just fucking suck, So, but I've not seen it, but I'm going to go off of things that the guy who created these 2 trips to Gotham, New York have told us. He's told us these things. That's another thing too. Like in the comics, Gotham, They never really clearly state where Gotham is, right? Like what state it's in.
It's Chicago.
Is
so
it?
that's where it is. Gotham is like a reimagining of Chicago.
But it shows up on the eastern, seaboard in some maps. Sometimes they say it's New York. Sometimes they say it's Jersey. I like when it's we just don't know. I don't think we need to know where Gotham is.
Well, you do, because you got to know where it is in relationship to Central City, which is Flash, and also Metropolis, which is Superman. Yeah. So you got Superman, Metropolis, New York. You got Batman, Gotham, which is Chicago. Okay. Then you got Central City, the Flash, which is like Philly, I believe, something like that. Got it. You got to know it just to, how long it take. How can Bruce just show up at New York? Or I'm sorry, Metropolis, right? Or downtown with Barry. You got to kind of figure out these time things.
So you're a fan of knowing, like in whatever story, hey, this is in New Jersey, this is in Chicago. Yeah, I just like Gotham because it's just Gotham.
Yeah, but then it becomes like a mythical place. Yeah.
Which it feels that way to me, It feels a little mythical for me, Adrian. But anyways, what's not mythical? Well, maybe there's some mythical things in the news this week. a lot of Avengers Doomsday talk, a lot of Secret Wars talk. DC's in the news too.
Oh wow!
It's just everything's getting stirred up right now in the comic news and rumor world. So Avengers Doomsday, and Secret Wars, right? The next two Avengers movies. There's some production details because we've heard that obviously Robert Downey Jr. is playing Dr. Doom, right? And then now this we've seen over MCU alone 34. Comic book movies. We've seen, several dozens of movies. There's times where the villain is a small part of the movie, right? And there's times where he's in like almost every scene, feels like his movie. And I don't know about you, but when I heard the casting, I was curious to like how big of a presence is Doom going to have? Mm-hmm. In Doomsday, you would assume he's going to have a big presence, right?
Sure.
So they leaked some details as to some production details as to who's going to be on the set. And, what span of time. Here we go again. They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs. Anyways, but they talked about the sideline characters and how long they're going to be on, which it seems like the supporting roles, they'll be on set for about a week or two, okay? The main characters for about a month, and Robert Downey Jr. will be on the set the longest for 3 entire months, and the whole production is going to take about 5 months. Mm-hmm. So when I hear all that, you're probably like, why are you even bringing this up? Mm-hmm. When I hear all that, what I gather from that is this is going to be Doom's movie.
Right.
This is like, if I asked you, who did you feel was the main character of Infinity War? Whose movie did it feel like to you? So many. It's hard.
It's so many characters.
I would say Thanos.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It seemed like it was his arc. It was from the get-go. Mm-hmm. We see him getting each Infinity Stone, and he won in the end.
Sure.
And it's funny because that is a lot of people. We did our list last week, top 5 MCU movies. Mm-hmm. A lot of people disagreed, but a lot of people. One thing that a lot of the comments agreed with was the fact that Infinity War, like you had it, I think maybe number 3 or 4. I had it like number 2, but it was ranked pretty high.
Right.
A lot of people agree with that. That movie is, I guess, universally loved.
Right.
But when I think back to that movie, it did feel like a Thanos movie. So to hear that Robert Downey Jr. is going to be, 3 out of the 5 months of production filming time, I think we're going to get a similar, type of movie here where it's a Doctor Doom movie, which has me excited.
Absolutely, but the thing about it is that the movie wasn't called Thanos,
right?
It was an Avengers movie,
yep.
And I kind of think rightfully so. They took second fiddle to the movie because they had to explain Thanos and his mission,
correct?
In that now, what Infinity War was not, and I hope Doom is not, is Echo. Where you had a Echo movie, but it was actually a Kingpin show.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So hopefully we don't have that. Well, you know what? I'm sure we won't have, that kind of a story arc.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, the Russo brothers, driving the car with Robert Downey Jr. kind of on the hood ornament, I guess, if you will. I think, and just hearing this, this thought of this idea of it being Doom's movie, which, I mean, to your point, it's called Doomsday. Infinity War was not called Thanos' Day, but I just has me more excited for this. And now what they should do is, before you leak these ideas, we talked about this last week, Adrian, they should send them to us.
Right.
Well, they're listening anyway. We could just do it live every week. So this decision, we're good with. I bless this. Are you blessed this, Adrian?
I'm good. I'm good with that. Right?
So they have our blessing. All right. This part of the news, I don't think you're going to like, Adrian. If I was if I was predicting things today, I would say this is not going to be a favorite piece of news here. So, Doomsday going to feature a lot of characters.
Sure.
Right. So we talked about Robert Downey Jr. playing Doom. Obviously, he's going to be the main villain, but the Avengers team, first of all, they haven't assembled since Endgame. Right? See how I did that?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, it's what we do
just
here.
Flow,
it just fucking comes easy, bro. But they have not assembled since Endgame. So we really don't even know what the Avengers team looks like. We got a new Captain America. We got, there's no more Iron Man. He's gone.
No more Black Widow.
Yeah, Black Widow's gone. No more Black Panther, who I see you have the Black Panther hat.
I do. Representing.
Scarlet Witch, we don't know where. Actually, I got some news on that for you later. But the rumor here is that there's going to be some new leads, a co-led team, okay? So, number one, this is going to be one of the main characters in Doomsday, and she's going to be a leader of the Avengers, Adrian. Your girl, Captain Marvel. You're speechless.
Dude, that just blows. It's just, you know what? After, how many appearances have she made? Like 3?
Yeah, probably.
So, after that, get rid of that, I don't want to be here face, right? And maybe she's learned something. Maybe she's listened to the fans over her 3 appearances. Yep. I hope she does better because they keep bringing her up. So if you're not going to go away, at least get better.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's the case.
Yep. Now, I will say this. In the Marvels, she was better than she was in all the previous appearances.
Because it wasn't about her.
True.
That's why. So, she wasn't spending, 4 months on the set. She only had a couple of weeks. So, of course, she was better.
Now, would you say she wasn't a main character? I would say her presence in Endgame wasn't bad. No. But she was used as a sideline character. Her in the lead role. Now, her teammate, Adrian, her counterpart, so I guess she's kind of going to fill the void of the Iron Man role, maybe. Her second fiddle or her partner is going to be Sam Wilson, Captain America. Those are going to be the 2 leads of the Avengers team, I guess, akin to Tony and
Captain
and
America.
Steve. Yeah, Cap, the original Cap. Same response here. Is that also blow?
Let's wait and see.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's do that.
Who knows? A lot could happen. I mean, these movies are Doomsday set to be released May of 26, and then Secret Wars May of 27. So to your point, we're looking at this from we've not even seen the Captain America movie yet, right? Could be great, could not be. Who knows? I mean, Brie Larson could have a change of attitude over the next few years. Right. So yeah, to your point, let's wait and see. But I mean, I guess the question though would be, outside of those 2, who could lead the Avengers right now? I mean, Spider-Man?
No, he's too young. He's still young.
Yeah.
In that he doesn't have a lot of. Well, actually, he does have quite a bit of battle experience now after Globe Boy.
Yeah.
Green flying around with the mirrors guy.
Mysterio.
Yeah, Mysterio. So, but no. Who's left in the MCU Avengers? Obviously, the Hulk cannot.
Right.
I guess it's them. But,
yeah.
We'll see.
Now, on the other side, flip side, we got Dr. Doom. We had talked about a rumor a few weeks back about Dr. Doom's relationship with Scarlet Witch, which does happen in some comics, and it looks like that they're going to use that story at least in Doomsday and Secret Wars. So there's more.
So that's the Wundagore. That's actually high. That's actually high evolutionary. Dr. Doom, and Wanda. I got to look into that.
So here's what we know so far. I've not read this but I've not read this comic, The Children's Crusade. And it really ties into actually Agatha. I don't know if you're caught up on Agatha yet, but I did watch, and I'm gonna have to take back some things I said last week, Adrian. Yeah. But we did see. So there's gonna be, I guess, some Agatha spoilers for you, Adrian.
Okay. And I knew that was gonna happen. I was like, I'm not gonna watch this shit because it was shit.
Yep.
And then now you're coming out and
dude, I really like the way the last episode ended. Okay. And let's just say that a prediction I made a few weeks back actually came true. Okay. He who is right's back, Adrian. He's fucking back.
Before we go too far.
Yeah.
I want to throw some Russo brothers news out there.
Oh, shit.
Right? So, and I'm flipping, waking up 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, flipping. So there's this new show out on, I think it's HBO Max, called Citadel Diana.
I've heard of it.
The Russo brothers.
That's right. I've actually seen their promo.
It's a foreign film. So it looks pretty cool. Really, really high tech, which is what drew me in. So,
yeah.
No, actually, it was the haircut on the thumbnail that drew me in. It was like, like the old, like the 80s, the girls like that, half over here and long over here, whatever.
Oh, snap.
So anyway, I'm I'm gonna check it out. See what it's about. Anyway.
Yeah, I actually did see. I saw a lot of promo on TikTok. The Russo brothers on set, and they did look like some futuristic type shit. Yeah. So, anyways, in this comic that looks like they're rumored to be adapting, Wanda, her title is the Baroness, and she basically is Doom's love interest. She does, after House of M, she loses her memory. This is what we were talking about last time, like. But what they say is he didn't take advantage of her. Like, she lost her memory, but they actually did fall in love. It wasn't like one of those, hey, by the way, we were married before you lost your memory. Like, wasn't some shit like that. But then when she regained her memory, she realized that their relationship was doomed, as they say. Wanda is revealed to be a Nexus being, so that goes back to the whole Loki, these important whatever. And I think this also falls, in line with that rumor we talked about a few months back that in the Secret Wars story, Wanda would play the not the role, but I guess the role of Molecule Man, that piece of the puzzle, that power source for Doom. Okay. Which of the MCU, I don't know, there aren't too many characters that we've seen yet that are stronger than Wanda. Right. Would you agree?
I agree.
I mean, who?
Matter of fact, I'm sitting here thinking about it. Definitely.
Is there anyone, honestly?
I don't know, dude. I don't think so.
Well, not off the top. I mean, maybe.
But this chick is like power.
Yeah. I mean, yes, you could argue, well, hey, Doctor Strange beat her, but he had Wong helping, and he had, and then he had to go back to find a dead version of it. It took a lot. Let's just say it took a lot. And I don't think it was.
You need some help when you got to go back and find a dead version.
Exactly, yeah, from another universe. But I think also he didn't outpower her. He used her anger and rage, he outsmarted her maybe. Right. So, but from a straight up power standpoint. So I'm liking this, dude. I mean, it's going to be a little odd seeing Robert Downey Jr. Now, granted, he's probably going to have a mask most of the time. Right. But Robert Downey Jr. and Elizabeth Olsen, who were former Avengers, now kind of in a, relationship, as they say.
Well, I think because they're, RDJ is also watching us, right? Yeah. What he's probably thinking of, he's got a point. So I need to project Doom, right? Even when I don't have the mask, because I think a lot of people are going to do that. A lot of people are going to be looking for Tony Stark in the unmasked version of Doom. And it's kind of like I do sometimes. It's unfair, right? Yeah. So like Pattinson, I still see him as.
You really should call him by his right name now.
Well, there's that. It's progress. Yeah. I still see him as Edward.
I'm working on you, dude. I'm trying to sell you every week.
I still see him as Edward, right? Yeah. So
would you call him like Bedward, Batward?
Bedward sounds naughty. Dude.
Sounds like something you'd hear at a Diddy party.
There's that. But I think a lot of people are going to be seeing. They're going to be seeing Tony Stark and RDJ. They're going to be looking for that. Yeah. And I think one of his challenges, I don't think the challenge is for him to portray Doom when he's in the Doom costume. I think the challenge for him is going to be playing Doom without the mask. Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. Another Dr. Doom rumor. So this one's interesting too, because in, Robert Downey Jr.'s last ride in the MCU, him and Tom Holland's Spider-Man were very close, a mentor relationship almost, right? Almost like a father, second father type of role. And then, we were talking the other day with some other people about like that Endgame scene when people came back, what was one of the most, coolest moments, and, seeing Spider-Man return and then, embrace Tony Stark, that whole deal. There's a rumor that Robert Downey Jr. will reunite with Tom Holland in Spider-Man 4. So Dr. Doom may show up in Spider-Man 4, dude. How do you feel about that?
Let's do it all.
Right?
So I'm so used to this cross-pollinating, incestuous relationships with all these comic book characters. It makes sense to bring the big screen. Right. I'm not mad at all. No. Let's do it.
And here's the thing, it's almost like the MCU is in a different space than it was when it started, completely.
Well, it should be, right?
It should be. And when they started, the MCU felt more like regular cinema, right? Like these movies, in the beginning, they weren't so connected, then they became more connected. But, you talk about you're used to all the cross-pollination, as you call it, because that's what happens in comics.
Right.
Dude, you could pick up any comic, and God knows who else is going to show up. Maybe it's for one panel, maybe it's for one interaction, but in the comics, there's this universe where all of these characters live.
Yeah.
And in movie, because of licensing and all this other shit, it's been hard to get there.
Right.
But the MCU is getting there now. Now, the thing is, I do believe that it probably alienates like casual fans that aren't used to that, right? Because if you've never read comics, the idea of this shared universe where these big name characters maybe show up for a cameo and this, that, it may be odd to you, right? Which I think now they're at that point where they're making stuff for the core fans.
Sure.
Which I'm okay with.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because, I mean, think about New York, right? You got the Fantastic Four. And we're not talking about the Avengers, where you have a bunch of people coming together collectively, and it's all on the umbrella of a, one camp. We're talking about Fantastic Four, might run into the Hulk, which might run into the Punisher, and Daredevil, and Elektra, and Kingpin, and Spider-Man, and Doc Ock, and the Green Goblin. I mean, all of it, this is just one city, dude.
That's literally like 3 blocks.
Right, and then the Hulk jumps in, destroys a building, and then bounces, Ghost Rider blazes through. I mean, that is supposed to happen. That's the way this works.
Right, yeah, absolutely. So, no, I'm here for it. And the interesting thing is Spider-Man 4 is rumored to be released after Doomsday. And a lot of the fan base feels like, and I think I fall on the side of this, I would imagine Doomsday ends with an incursion. Right? We've been introduced to incursions in Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. I feel like that's a movie that, when it's all said and done, is going to have more impact than what we thought. The multiverse. Now, it's not a great movie. It's not as bad as a lot of people make it out to be. Right. I almost want to revisit that, and because I think that may have come out before we were doing this show. I don't remember reviewing that on here. It's been a long time. Who knows? But they talked about incursions in there. In fact, Strange and Christine Palmer visited a universe that went through an incursion. Remember the one that was all destroyed? So Doomsday has to do something to match or top the snap, right?
Sure.
And an incursion sounds like something that would be on that scale. So Doomsday ends with an incursion. Say Doom somehow, I would imagine, shows up in Earth 616. Who's there? Everyone's friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Right. Could set that up, you know. But I like that rumor, dude. I'm down with it. And I think it's going to be very cool to see, Robert Downey Jr. with Tom Holland, but him playing a different character. Because they're going to say there's going to be an inside joke about it.
Sure.
But I like where all this is going with all this, as you call it, cross-pollination.
Yeah. And I'm sure there'd probably even be some Deadpool moments in there where there's like something on the table that looks like, Iron Man or Tony Stark or something like that. So it'll probably be a little bit of that, inside humor kind of a deal going on. But yeah, I'm ready for it, dude.
And then the other thing we have is Reed Richards and Doom. I mean, how close those two are in the comics, right? I mean, they're, tied at the hip, essentially.
Absolutely. And I mean, if you look at the comics, early comics, the two people or teams that Doom was most intertwined with was the Fantastic Four and Spider-Man.
Right.
So for them to fall into for Doom to fall into either or both of those camps, absolutely makes sense.
Yeah, and he's supposedly going to be in Fantastic Four as well, too. Not as the main focus, but it will introduce him, because this Doctor Doom variant, the Robert Downey Jr. version, originates from the same universe as the Fantastic Four in the MCU. So it's like you're coming over. So I'd imagine that universe is going to collide with 616, just like we saw in Secret Wars in the comics, where those last two universes collide.
Right.
And then most of those individuals are the ones that occupy Battleworld.
Right. And actually, from an actor point of view, I'm just thinking about this. How cool is that, where you can play this rich playboy, high-shot, high-tech superhero one phase, but then as you naturally get older, right? Unlike Beetlejuice jumping out of a Mach 5 jet, right?
Right.
So you can not now go into a role where you can be an older actor and still come off play a very powerful, very popular comic book character.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's cool, dude.
Absolutely.
To go from Iron Man to Doctor Doom, I mean, as a natural progression, unlike, Hugh Jackman's going to be playing Wolverine till he's 90.
Yeah, there's no progression there. No.
Right. So, I mean, I think that's cool to be able to do that as a person that's working. It's like you're on a job, right? And you start out as a fry cook, right? And then you naturally progress into a owner of a fast food restaurant. I mean, that's basically what he's doing. I think that's very cool.
Yeah. And the other thing, think about some of these actors that are in these roles, like Robert Downey Jr., great actor. Pedro Pascal, great actor. Now, at first, when we heard the cast, we're like, that's not really Reed Richards, but I got faith he's going to pull it off.
Sure.
Phenomenal actor. And so now, once we're past that, think about the scenes that we're going to see with these two, with their acting, their presence. You always talk about presence with actors. This ain't a, Brie Larson, showing up. This is Pedro Pascal, Robert Downey Jr., amazing on-screen presence, playing very important roles. And obviously, their relationship's going to be important to the story, Reed and Doom. It's kind of the whole foundation of Secret Wars, right? Yep. So I can't wait just to see stuff like that. They're, and I would guess, like, their interactions are probably going to be minimal but impactful. They kind of compared it in the rumor that to Tony Stark and Thanos, where they didn't have a lot of interaction, but it was obvious that, they were the kind of the yin and yang to each other. Like Thanos knew who Tony was. Of all the trillions of people in the universe, he knew Tony Stark. And Tony felt like Thanos was haunting him since the first Avengers when, he went up into space. So dude, again, it's kind of like I've been repeating myself, but I'm ready for it, dude. This is going to be a fun few years. Yeah.
It sounds like there's some epicness coming along the way.
There you go. And it's Secret Wars is rumored to be a kind of they're calling it a soft reboot, which is what it was in the comics as well. Like, some characters remain the same. Some were brought back from the dead. Some were, completely different, look updated. But it reset the comics, like got rid of the multiverse aspect, but kept some of the favorites and changed. So, which I think is a good idea. I don't think it needs a complete rehaul because you've been building this damn thing for 10 plus years. Do a reboot where you can do some recasting. And, if this is a story that destroys the multiverse and we have variants from all different universes, you bring them in and there's different actors, I don't think anybody bats an eye at that.
Also, speaking of actors, I think this is a premium opportunity to introduce some new heroes and villains,
Absolutely.
To the fans. Because, again, there's a lot. We got a whole year's worth of, hidden gems. I think this is a great opportunity to bring some of that stuff out.
Now that Marvel Studios owns Fox, the Fox characters, or the characters they leased out to Fox again. Sony is done with this whole Venom story, so maybe they can adapt Venom properly over here. Like, timing, it seems like it's, perfect for what you're doing. New actors, new characters, younger actors, and just keep the story going.
Not reinvented characters.
No.
Don't keep bringing Johnny Storm up and Venom and, that horrible rendition of Woody Harrelson's Carnage. But just some new blood. I mean, there's a lot of people out there, so let's get them out.
Another rumor about the Fantastic Four. Actually, it's not a rumor. The director, Matt Shakman, he's confirmed that in the Fantastic Four's Marvel universe, there are no other heroes. It's just the Fantastic Four. So, I mean, it's similar to how the MCU started, but then they kind of like retconned a bunch of here, like, oh, by the way, Captain Marvel was here in the 90s and we just forgot to tell you. And blah. But this is, it's kind of like the Fox universe. It was just the X-Men. There was no,
Sure.
So, I mean, I think that's cool because it's almost like I don't want too much. Like if imagine Fantastic Four movie and all of a sudden you got another Iron Man variant, another this variant. It would be a lot, and I think it would distract you from the Fantastic Four.
Sure.
Fantastic Four should be at the showcase. It should be at the center of this movie because, I mean, they're important. You mentioned earlier, like, they're one of the most important teams in Marvel Comics.
Right.
And they've not been done on screen properly ever.
Right. That's what I was going to say, especially since they haven't been done on screen properly. They need to have proper representation. And I hope this team can pull this thing off.
Yep. Well, moving on, Captain America: Brave New World. If these reports are accurate, it sounds like this thing is not gonna hit. Sounds like it's not going in the right direction. So this is where, again, going back to last week, you should have just asked us to check out the movie. But there are some test screenings recently, and they've been met with mostly negative responses. Now, they didn't say what, because, this is in the early phase, so they don't want to leak anything. But now this is after there was a 4-month period of reshoots. Mm-hmm. So they originally had the movie.
Oh, wow.
I guess that didn't test well. Then they did 4 months of reshoots, and now this new one didn't test well. And they had some test groups where they screened both versions, and this ain't good, right, if this is true. Because if you're gonna have an Avengers story, even though we're still like, it's Sam Wilson, it's Sam, it's not Steve, but whatever. If you're gonna have an Avengers story, I feel like you got to have a Captain America there. He's got to be a big part of it.
All right, so go back a little bit. Geez, I just had his name. Sam Wilson.
Yep.
What's the character? What's the actual
Anthony
actor?
Mackie.
Anthony Mackie,
yep,
right? So when Anthony Mackie first looked at comic book movies, I think the only person that was on his radar was Black Panther. He wanted to play Black Panther. And then, he got into these studio discussions, and they pitched him with, the Falcon. He's like, who is this guy, right?
Right.
So, he has developed the Falcon, and it's been a cool ride, right? So, so you got that in its own silo. Then you got an icon, Captain America, right? So it's like this guy, he was like, if you look at all the aliens, right, they're all monsters or they're different colors, but when it comes to Superman, he's a white superhuman alien, where even John, Ralph, everybody's a monster except this one guy, right? So you got Captain America is an icon. So now you got the Falcon, and you got Captain America, which I've always said they should always be two separate entities. You cannot mash those two together.
Right.
I think a lot of that is people are looking at, just like I said, that when people look at Doom, they're going to be looking for Tony Stark. They're looking at this mashup of Captain America and the Falcon, which never existed before. Mm-hmm. And they're like, you just smashed up two completely different personalities, people, styles, colors, everything into this one person. I don't like it.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of the pushback is mostly that this new character, Captain Falcon, erodes one of their icons, as opposed to, again, you should have recasted him,
right,
just like you should have recasted T'Challa, the Black Panther, and just kept this thing moving. It never existed before anywhere, right? And now you're going to throw this in everybody's face. I think most of that pushback is the erosion, basically almost the disappearance of the Captain American icon.
Yeah. I also feel that there was a lot still left to do with the Falcon character.
There was still a lot to do with both of the characters.
Yeah.
But definitely, especially since Sam Wilson, the Falcon, he came up and kind of like a sidekick.
Yeah.
But he definitely Sam Mackie owned that role.
Absolutely.
He owned that role. And so I think there was a lot of development that he could have done on his own. He literally could have been a Captain America type level entity on his own without doing this mashup.
Build up the Falcon character to where you could be like, dude, I could see Falcon, being the co-leader of the Avengers.
Sure.
But instead throw on this Captain America outfit and just paint your wings blue, you know?
Hit up Tony. He could have given him Steve Rogers-like powers in the suit, which is the only thing that matters, right?
Correct.
So, oh, man.
Yeah, it just seems wasted, dude. And what surprises me is think about what the MCU did with the Iron Man character. Mm-hmm. He was a B-list character maybe back in the day, and they
B-list for you,
for me, but I mean for most people, like he was not a Spider-Man, he wasn't a Wolverine or a Batman, right? But once the MCU built him up, he is now.
Right.
You ask most kids what your favorite character, a lot of them are going to say Iron Man.
Right.
Especially kids that grew up in the the late 2000s.
Right.
They took a character that was here and made him here.
Absolutely.
You even see it in the comics afterwards. Like you see so many more stories where Iron Man is like one of the leads.
Right.
Where in the past he may just be a sideline character. They could have done the same thing with Falcon.
Absolutely.
Why not?
Yep. And there was still so many more adventures that Steve Rogers could have done.
Correct.
In it on his own, of his own. I mean, they kind of got into the Hydra thing a little bit, but there was all of that stuff. I mean, there was the whole Shield angle. Yep. I mean, there was his whole personal shit going on.
Right.
There was the thing with the Agent Carter thing. I mean, obviously they got time travel. They could do that. I mean, they got all the spacefaring adventures. They could do more of that.
Right.
I mean, but they could do that with any of their characters.
Correct.
But they can also do that with a lot of new characters.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, a little DC news, Adrian. The Brave and the Bold, DCU. This is a Batman movie that they're working on, and there's been a lot of casting rumors. Nothing's been confirmed yet. Matter of fact, last week, a rumor dropped. One thing I love about James Gunn, he ain't afraid to go on like Twitter or X as they call it, and like shit on these rumors. Like he don't care. So there was a rumor that dropped last week that said that DCU was looking for a middle-aged actor to play Batman in their movie, which honestly, when I heard this, I'm like, that sounds like legit because there's a Bat family already established. There's going to be Damian Wayne's going to be in this, so that would make sense, right? Sure. But James Gunn came out, and I forget exactly what he said, but he shut it down, and he pretty like something. It was like something we would say. It was pretty angry almost, but he's like, there's absolutely no truth to that. So they're not looking for a middle-aged actor. But I think the bigger, the reason I wanted to talk about this is this Batman story. We're so used to seeing early Batman on screen, right? Even with the latest version, your boy Pattinson, is becoming your boy slowly, week by week.
He's never going to be my boy.
My boy Pattinson, but it's year 2 Batman.
Yeah.
Christian Bale, we saw Batman Begins, and Dark Knight was first couple years. And
that's a middle-aged Batman.
That was middle-aged, yeah. But there was a time jump for the third one, even though nobody aged. But whatever, we'll forget about But it's based in realism. You don't understand. Yeah, what's real is 8 fucking years goes by and nobody ages. But whatever, yeah, have your realism. But this is going to be an older Batman. Bat family already established, meaning there's going to be Robin. I believe there'll be Nightwing. Damian Wayne is going to be featured in this. So, I mean, that's a great...
Damian Wayne?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, Damian Wayne.
Little boy, yeah.
I'm thinking about the actor, the Wayans brothers.
Oh, Damon Wayans. Yeah, I don't think Damon Wayans is going to be...
I heard that. I'm like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah, Damon Wayans is playing Damian Wayne. But Damian Wayne, I guess the most asshole kid you could ever ask for.
What?
Yeah. Which, dude, I'm ready for this. This is cool.
Did you see that Superman, Batman, the Sons of Superman?
I still
Batman?
haven't seen it. No,
dude, that's the funniest thing.
Yeah.
When Damon just pushes young Clark off a cliff inside of the Batcave to activate his powers. He's just like, boop. Yep. He's like, dude, what are you doing? And Superman has to go get him. Man. He's an absolute dick.
Yep. So actually, that's what James Gunn said. He said, this is the introduction of the DCU's Batman. This is a story of Damian Wayne, who is Batman's actual son, who we didn't know existed for the first 8 to 10 years of his life. He was raised as a little murderer and assassin. This is my favorite part. He's a little son of a bitch. He's my favorite Robin. Right. I couldn't agree with James Gunn more. He is a little son of a bitch, but he is my favorite Robin.
Yep.
I mean, Dick Grayson's the OG, but he ended up becoming Nightwing. Sure. I think I like him more as Nightwing.
Yeah. No, he definitely. I think his struggle with being the shadow of Batman, kind of like nerfed him a little bit. His capabilities.
Yep. And this is going to be based on the Grant Morrison's comic book run, which is the whole Son of Batman. Actually, some of those stories were adapted into animated movies. If you remember, Batman versus Robin, and then the Son of Batman. There's a lot of great stories in there to be told. This is where it's like, just don't adapt it, page for page. But we don't need to change that much.
Right.
just take what's there and repurpose that and use it. There's great stories there to be told. So, yeah, dude, I'm looking forward to this. Next up, Christopher Nolan. So we haven't seen Joker 2, but I'm going to spoil the last scene for you, Adrian, okay? Arthur's in jail. I saw this scene the other day on TikTok. He's in jail, and another inmate basically kills him. And then the inmate carves his own mouth like the Joker in Dark Knight. So almost like, hey, this guy, Arthur, who we've now learned is not really Joker, even though they made 2 fucking movies calling him fucking Joker. But he's not Joker. It'd be like, hey, you're not Adrian, but you told me you were Adrian for years, and everyone knows you as Adrian. But no, I'm not Adrian. I'm someone else. Okay, whatever you say. But this ending of this character, whoever held some inmate, random inmate at Arkham, kills Arthur and then turns himself into a Joker that really resembles the Heath Ledger Joker. Funny thing is, this was the original ending proposed for Joker 1, and at this time, Christopher Nolan was, he had a position at WB where I don't know exactly what it was, but he oversaw some of these movies, and he said no. He vetoed this decision because it would then tie it to his version. This time around, Todd Phillips, your boy, he didn't play nice with DC. In fact, he didn't want them involved in the movie. James Gunn and I forget the other guy's name, Peter Safran, they weren't even at the movie premiere. It's been rumored that there was a dysfunctional dynamic, and Phillips wanted nothing to do with DC. So it's kind of like this guy just took a shit all over comic book characters and lore because he's an asshole.
And who is this guy?
The director of Joker 2, Todd Phillips.
So you make a DC movie, but you want nothing to do with DC.
Yeah. Yep.
Interesting. So and you make a movie called The Joker about somebody that's not the Joker, right, but you introduce the Joker at the end by killing off the person that we have been calling the Joker for the past 2 movies.
Exactly. And then you come out and say the reason why you don't like the movie, Agent, is because you thought you were going to see the Joker character. Well, who the fuck named the movie Joker?
Right.
Why didn't you just make a movie about a guy named Tom who was crazy?
You could have just saved us the pain. Skip to the second movie to the very end, where the person that you were calling the Joker slits the face of the person that we understood as the Joker,
right,
and just move on from that. It could have been 13 seconds long.
Crazy, dude. Crazy.
Wow.
Yep. So, but that's why a lot of these things he's saying is why he is being blamed for the failure of this, which I think he should take full blame.
You know what? This is actually cool. Because we haven't done Donkey of the Day?
Oh, yeah.
Whatever the hell
what do we used to call it?
Yeah, we need to get back to that.
Yeah.
Well, whatever that was,
yeah,
this is that guy.
It's been so long. Jackass of the Week or something, no. Oh, God, what the hell was it called? Chris actually named it when he was saying, yeah, we'll call him up real quick. Get him on the line.
There you go.
But, whatever it was.
Yeah, some fictitious podcast aid, wherever you are, not getting us coffee and not setting up the room.
You guys in the booth, get Chris on the line and find out what he called it. Dude, yeah, it was something like Jackass of the Week or something. But anyways.
Well, it is not for copyright reasons. It is not Donkey of the Day.
It's not Donkey of the Day, no.
No, that's something that belongs to somebody down in Miami, radio station or something.
Yep. But if it was, it would be Todd Phillips.
Yes.
He is definitely one time it was our buddy, hey, he's our buddy. It was our buddy this week. Like, hey, bud. Our bud this week is Todd Phillips. And he's the same guy who made The Hangover, which also had 2 sequels that nobody really like. That first Hangover was great.
Oh yeah,
and then the second one was, and the third one was just, dude, why we stop? Don't make these anymore. But this, I'll be honest, as a fan, and I'm choosing this. I'm choosing to get pissed off. Mm-hmm. It pisses me off.
Okay,
because these are characters that people like you and I grew up reading, right? And they're like, well, who cares? You're just comic nerds, maybe. But these are characters that I love some of these characters. They're the story behind them, some stories they've been in, whatever, and it's like a bait and switch. You tell me you're going to make a Joker movie, so we all showed out for the first movie. It's why it did $1 billion, and even then we're like, at least it didn't feel Joker.
Right.
It was an okay movie, it wasn't bad, but it didn't feel Joker. So second time around, okay, now you're doubling down. Now you're going to bring Harley Quinn into this. Another beloved character, right? Is there anyone you've ever met that's doesn't like Harley Quinn? Maybe it's not your top, but
especially now,
yeah, with Margot Robbie's portrayal. Right. So you're like, we're gonna bring Lady Gaga in, who's I think's a pretty good actor.
Sure.
So I'm like, shit, this sounds like it could be good, and then you just you just sit back. It's like you ate a can of beans, right? And you proceed to take the biggest shit on the Joker character, on Harley Quinn, on Gotham, on DC. It's just unbelievable.
So if the Joker wasn't the Joker, is Harley Quinn not Harley Quinn? Were they not in Gotham City?
No, they call her Lee.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So to transform a character at that level is like, hey, Mike, you breathe oxygen, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Usually.
So you've been breathing oxygen all your life. Well, we all have.
Yep.
Well, I'm going to change that oxygen. We're going to turn it into something that's, we're going to keep calling it oxygen, but it's actually going to be, maybe like methane or some carbon monoxide, but we're going to call it Joker. But then after you fucking dead, right?
Yep.
It's not really, oxygen.
No.
It's this other thing.
Dude.
Some characters, well, all these comic book characters are central. They are critical. They are immortal. They're immortalized. They're whatever you want to call it. They are what they are. They have been for decades. Mm-hmm. And then for some ass to just come out of the woodwork who obviously know nothing about the comic book world, right? Oh, here's my opportunity to put and that's what it's about.
Yep.
Here's my stamp. Mm-hmm. I'm going to change this character into something that is nonsense and piss everybody off. I'm going to go down in history. I can't kill everybody. So I'm going to go down in history by pissing the entire universe off because I'm going to make a non-Joker Joker. Mm-hmm. Dude. In a non-Harlequin Harley in a non-Gotham City City.
Dude, they took Harley Quinn, who was a psychiatrist at Arkham, who fell in love with Joker. Joker persuaded to help break him out of prison and turned her into an inmate in prison who was manipulating Joker.
Right.
It's not Harley Quinn.
No,
not at all.
Dude, Claw's coming out.
Yeah. It's pissed. Yeah.
Yeah, we need to move on. Yeah, quickly.
It's just unfucking believable. Here's the thing. We need
And Batman's not even my dude.
No.
That's your man.
Yeah, and he ain't even in it.
Right.
Like, how? In what world I'm going to make 2 Joker movies? Joker of all villains. Right. And we ain't going to have Batman. We have Bruce Wayne's going to be like 8 years old and fucking touching Joker through the gate. Like, come on, dude. Just knock it off. But here's what we need to stop. This, you guys want us on your little fan, super group, whatever. Here's what we need to stop. Stop letting directors, make comic book movies when they're not fans of the comics. Is that fair?
They should be vetted.
Yeah.
Right? They should be vetted by the Russo brothers.
We don't have this issue with the Russo brothers.
Right.
He's not going, well, Steve Rogers isn't really Captain America here. He's actually Russian and, he's trying to kill it. Stop letting people. They don't need to be like sicko fans, but at least go. Do you ever read a comic? Like, who's your favorite character? Dude, this is like, you've been to Disney, right?
Yeah.
Imagine going to Disney and you're a kid, dude, and you can go see Mickey Mouse, right?
Right.
It's fucking Disney World. Where's Mickey?
Right.
You show up and fucking Mighty Mouse is there instead.
All right.
And they go, but you don't understand.
Tom or somebody.
Yeah, like Tom and Jerry. You'd be like, where's the real Mickey Mouse? It's what they did to us. They Mickey Moused us, dude.
Wow.
Unbelievable. So, yeah, let's move on before the claws come out and we cancel the rest of the show because we're too angry. But we're gonna
that's it.
We're gonna wrap this up with a little thumbs up, thumbs down.
Let's
so I mean, I wonder what that last piece of news. Who knows? Who knows?
Oh my God.
Oh man. All right, are you ready?
I'm ready.
There's a lot here, so bear with me. All right, number 1. Avengers Doomsday production details reveal that we'll be seeing a lot of Robert Downey Jr.'s Doom in Doomsday. I'm giving this a thumbs up.
Absolutely, thumbs up.
Scarlet Witch rumored to have a pretty close relationship with Doom. They're going to be, bumping uglies, as they say. I'll give this a thumbs up.
Sure, thumbs up.
Kudos to Doom. Right. Dr. Doom. Everything's Dr. Doom this week. We should have wore green.
Hey, if the Penguin can scoop up chicks with that whole thing he's got going on, Doom can do
That's
it too.
That's a good point. Tony Stark. Robert Downey Jr.'s Dr. Doom rumored to show up in Spider-Man 4. Give that a thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Now, interesting piece about that is another rumor we heard was that Spider-Man 4 will take place in Battleworld. Okay. So it almost makes it even more. So either you have that segue or Doomsday ending in an incursion, and then Doom, joining the Earth 616 and encountering Spider-Man there. So who knows?
Either way, I'm down.
Yep, same. Fantastic Four First Steps director confirms that other superheroes do not exist in his Fantastic Four universe. I give that a thumbs up.
Sure, thumbs up.
It gives a nice focus on Fantastic Four.
And it's supposed to be in a early, like an older date back in the past.
Yeah,
right?
it's like a old, like a 60s influence style, but it's future.
Okay.
Like some Jetsons type shit, maybe.
Okay.
This was actually, I forgot to even bring this up earlier. Henry, are you a Voltron fan?
Voltron. I'm not a fan, but I know what you're talking about. I mean, that was the only thing I had to watch back in the day at some point.
See, I was a Power Rangers guy, so when I saw Voltron, I'm like, they copied the Power Rangers, but
no.
yeah, it came first. So, But Henry Cavill is casted for a live-action Voltron movie. So there you go. Yeah, I'm gonna give that. I'm gonna pull one of yours, like thumbs. Who cares? Because to me, Voltron's a knockoff of Power Rangers, and I'm sure y'all are gonna look.
Not. Matter of fact, I couldn't even watch the Power Rangers. I'm like, what's this dumb shit?
Dude,
a bunch of karate kids.
I'll tell you what, bro. Tommy the Green Ranger, he'd fuck up a lot of. Dude, he crippled all the Power Rangers with that little flute thing. Dude, he just came in wrecking shit, dude. But anyways, I'm going to get a lot of love about that statement. Some of those Voltron fans. Voltron's the greatest movie ever. Okay, relax.
Or not.
Or not. Captain America Brave New World was not well received in the recent test screening. I'm going to give this a thumbs down because if you would have just called us, let us take a look at it, we would have helped. We would have fixed this for you.
Well, because you didn't, and we also kind of hinted at it, right? Who wants a Captain Falcon?
Right.
I'm going to give it a thumbs up because it just justifies what we already talked about.
Like that perspective, Adrian. James Gunn confirms that he's not looking for a middle-aged actor to play Batman. I don't know, dude. Thumbs down. I think, but he should be a middle-aged. Like, it's a Bat family established. What's he going to be? 30 years old and his kids, 20? I don't know.
Thumbs down.
Christopher Nolan vetoed Joker 2's original ending when it was proposed for Joker 1. So I'm going to give the fact that he vetoed that a thumbs up, but the fact that they went through with it this time, thumbs down.
Well, the news is Christopher Nolan vetoed it, so that's a thumbs up.
Okay. I'm just trying to thumbs down Todd Phillips as much as possible. So we saved the best for last. Todd Phillips is blamed for the Joker 2 failures. He's rumored to basically not want to work with DC throughout the movie. In fact, James Gunn and Peter Safran weren't even at the screening. So this confirms what we talked about last week, or the question we posed, who asked for this. I'm going to give this thumbs down.
Thumbs down because, I mean, you make a DC movie, and you don't want to associate with the two biggest directors in DC, and you don't even want to associate with, the House.
Right.
That's insane to me. How does the House even let him do this?
Yep. Also,
anyway, thumbs down.
Who in the world picked Todd Phillips, the director of the Hangover series, to craft a Joker movie? Whose dumbass decision was that? That person should have been fired. Oh. We know it wasn't Christopher Nolan. No. But yeah, that's our thumbs up, thumbs down. But I mean, the biggest thing for me here is this Joker 2, and please, for the love of God, stop letting non-comic fans direct. It's like this guy has a vision of a movie he wants to make. Right. It sucks, so he's not going to get it made. So he figures, well, if I weasel my way into the comic book world, I can pretend I'm making this Joker movie, and I can make my shitty-ass movie.
Right. Ooh, man, that takes me down so many roads.
Yeah.
But I can't go there.
Last thing I'll say about this. Todd Phillips originally said that when the first Joker came out, Todd Phillips said that I'm not making a sequel. It was meant to be a one-off. Joaquin Phoenix allegedly had a dream that inspired this movie. So I guess he had a dream about singing with Lady Gaga in prison and figured, let's make that Joker 2. Maybe we shouldn't take things from our dreams and make them movies. I have dreams where I'm naked in the grocery store. That probably wouldn't be a good movie.
No comment.
So maybe let's stop just taking things that we had in a dream one time and make it into a movie. But anyways, moving on. Hit or miss cast, Adrian. You ready?
Let's do it.
Yeah, this is a quick segue this week. So I just jumped right into that.
Right.
Matter of fact, before we do that, go subscribe. Like, what are y'all doing? Subscribe to the channel so you know when we drop these awesome videos every week. All right, this is where I throw out a handful. Well, 5. I guess that would be a handful. Right? Like that. 5 casting choices from the past. And Adrian, in his opinion, so pay attention to this part, his opinion, he lets me know. So he's not even talking to you guys. He's telling me if it was a hit or miss.
Sure.
So you're not allowed to get upset about that. But you can anyways.
You can.
Yeah, it's okay. We don't mind. All right, are you ready?
Let's do it.
Number 1, Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn.
Hit.
John Cena as Peacemaker.
Hit.
Brie Larson as Captain Marvel.
Miss.
Zoe Saldana as Gamora.
Hit.
Karen Gillan as Nebula.
Hit.
There you go. So only miss this week was Brie Larson, which I agree.
Yeah.
I feel like I have to give Peacemaker another shot. Did you like that?
I did.
Yeah.
It was surprising. And he's got something in common with Wolverine.
Peacemaker does?
Yeah.
What's that?
That vein.
Yo, John Cena's is crazy, dude.
Yeah.
That thing's like does circles and shit.
Yep,
Yeah, it's like a whole character itself.
That's it. But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
It was actually pretty cool.
And I like John Cena. I think he's funny. He's not the greatest actor in the world, but he is funny. And I just like the idea of seeing someone who looks like a superhero play a superhero. Right. You know, we talked about this with, little Tom.
Right. But I've liked Cena since The Marine.
Yeah.
That's where I first saw him.
I've never seen
acting.
The Marine.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I think the first movie I saw with Cena was that movie with what's it called, Trainwreck or something, where he plays I'm not even going to Rebel Wilson. Not Rebel Wilson. Anyways, forget about it. Someone in the comments will let me know.
Got it.
But yeah, I think I'll give this another shot, dude. Because I tried watching it. I got maybe halfway through an episode, and I just think I wasn't in the laughing mood, and I'm like, this is just too stupid. It's like watching South Park or something. I'm sure all the South Park fans will be upset at me, but Gamora and Nebula, these are characters. They're different than they are in the comics, but. Dude, I didn't know Karen Gillan from anything.
Right.
She's in the Jumanji movies, which my kids used to watch those all with The Rock and Jack Black, and she did a pretty good job there. Yeah.
I remember. I've seen those.
Yeah, she's a good actress.
Yeah.
But dude, she nailed this Nebula role. Made this character, I think, even cooler than she is in the comics.
Right.
I really liked her portrayal. And y'all know how we feel about Brie Larson's Captain Marvel. The less said, the better.
Exactly.
Moving on. Adrian, last week I was talking about Batman Year One. So I had said I was going to do a review video, but I got something. I'm working on something. Okay, I'm working on something. But I wanted to show everybody this because I like to promote stuff for DC, even though they don't do shit for us. Dude, I got this absolute. I'm a big fan of these absolute versions. Look at the size of this book. And this one comes with two different printings. I was showing you this the other day. You started reading comics young, right?
Yep.
And back in your day, I would assume the comics looked like this.
Absolutely.
Newspaper, right?
I mean, nostalgia. You talk about nostalgia.
Dude,
man.
In this year, now you've not read Year One yet. No. You've seen the movie.
I have.
Which we're going to talk about some animated movies soon. But this was, you look at what they did with the limited amount of colors back then. Right. It's probably not coming through properly on screen, but so I read both versions because I wanted to get the feel. Because I'm a 90s kid. Yeah. So by the time I got into comics, the newspaper print was, long gone. So sometimes it's hard for me to get into those because I'm used to stuff like this. Right. But, dude, I read both versions, and it was cool to kind of see. But, look how this thing pops, dude.
Right. It's like going from like the 720 TVs to the 4K, well, not 4K, 1080p. I'll put it like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's you definitely need some readers to watch that, to look at that old newsprint today.
Yeah.
But that's the stuff I grew up on, man. I love that stuff.
Yeah, but it's cool. And dude, this is one of Batman's best comics, and this scene right here where Batman shows up and threatens everyone for the first time, I absolutely love it. So here's what I will say about Year One. This is a little teaser for a video that I'm working on. It should be dropped next week. I believe that Year One is the ultimate Batman origin story. I believe that it's a must-read, but it's not perfect. And that's what we're going to talk about at some point next week. So a little teaser there for you.
There you go.
But Year One, you saw this animated movie, right? How'd you feel about the movie?
It was Year One-ish.
Yeah.
And what you said about it not being perfect is, and that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
You should, if you produce something, the idea is that we'll get it out. If you wait for it to be perfect, it will never exist, right? Get it out and then evolve from it. We can see, like, year 2 Pattinson, right? Mm-hmm. He's evolving, and we know that he will evolve because we get into the Christopher Nolan, version of Batman, the middle-aged Batman.
Yeah.
And even when we get into like the animated Batman, when he's older and he's creating a Batman team after being gone for so long, it's called progression. Yeah. So year 1, imperfect, but it's the introduction to an icon.
Right. And the artwork in that is phenomenal. Frank Miller writes it, Frank Miller is I think he's a polarizing comic artist with some people. But, he wrote Dark Knight Returns, I think was his first big Batman book. He also did a lot of, like, Daredevil stuff for Marvel and whatnot. But I'm a fan of his writing. I think, someone asked, and I didn't have his comment for We Respond, but they had asked our favorite comic writers, and I think one of mine would be Jeff Loeb. I really like Jeff Loeb and his work he's done on Batman. Do you have one that sticks out to you? Like, if this guy's writing it, odds are it's going to be good. Anyone that pops out?
Not a writer, but I was into the art.
Yeah, I know you have some artists.
John Byrne. He was my top. Back in the day, he did a lot of stuff. Biggest thing he did was Superman. I think he did Marvel and DC.
Yeah. Oh, actually, here it is right here, dude. So this is a little preview to We Respond. So Ryder Fan, Ryder Fan, he's commented last week. So he says, "Hey, Mike and Adrian, I was thinking back on an old episode when Adrian said he won't read a comic if he doesn't like the art, which, to be honest, I'm the exact same way. Same, too. Like, that some of the – and it sucks because there's some really old stories that I know are good, but when I open them up, the comic book looks like, like the first Batman comic where there's, like, 3 colors and it's all red and yellow, and it's hard for me to get into sometimes. Right.
But it's not just comic books, it's anything.
Yeah.
Movies, anime, cartoons. If I don't like the art, it's just hard to get into.
Yeah.
But if I find myself watching something, I could get past the art because if the storyline is good, but definitely the art first.
Yeah. So he asked, and I'll just kind of sum this up. He's asking, when it comes to comics, who's your favorite writer? Who's your favorite artist? Who's your least? But writer, Jeff Loeb sticks out because I'm a huge Long Halloween fan, and he also wrote Hush. He also wrote The Last Halloween, which first issue just dropped. Which I actually, dude, I forgot to tell you this. I bought 2 copies. I was going to give you one to read, and we'll review it here, but I keep forgetting to bring it in. So you can't read it if I don't give it to you. Right. So, but that's a little preview for maybe next week. You know? But Jeff Loeb's one of my, but from an artist standpoint, Jim Lee. Like, you like John Byrne, and I think Jim Lee came right after John Byrne on I'm thinking the X-Men run. Yeah. Because John Byrne's so known for his run on X-Men.
Absolutely.
Jim Lee's one of my favorite comic artists, dude. He doesn't do a lot, but what he does is just so good. Yeah. Like, I love his Batman. He draws Batman damn near the size of Hulk. So I think it's his fault why I look at people like Tom Hardy and I'm going, dude, why is he in it? Like, come on, stop, Yeah. But yeah, I would say, Jeff Loeb, I love as a writer. Jim Lee is an artist. Tim Sale as well. I love his stuff. It's very different than, John Byrne, great. So many good ones, though.
Yeah.
It was really.
I never really cared so much about the writers as I did the art.
Yeah.
And the story arc.
Yeah.
What was this story about?
Right.
So which basically boils down to, is it a good story?
I would even say Jonathan Hickman. He did the recent Secret Wars, and he did a lot of the Avengers prior to that. I went back and read a lot of his run. He's a great one too. But I'm going to be doing more of that stuff kind of off the podcast, deep dives into certain comic book stories, and we're starting with year 1, so just a little preview for you all, Adrian. And guess what? I'm not going to charge for that. That's to be free, okay? Free for everyone.
Because you love comics.
That's exactly right.
There you go.
Yeah, I could direct a comic book movie. I wouldn't put a stupid spin on it and make it not a comic character, then act like you're so stupid because you didn't understand my shitty movie. But anyways, moving on. What the fuck, Rotten Tomatoes? Is this still your favorite name segment?
Sure.
Like, the title of it?
Let's do it.
So I got a theme this week, as always. This is going to be MCU shows. We talk a lot about movies on here. So I went through the MCU shows and some of the biggest disparities between critics and audience. This is where Adrian lets us know, and sometimes I chime in too, which score is more accurate. our good old friends at Rotten Tomatoes, Adrian.
Oh, here we go.
Number 1, Secret Invasion. Okay, the critics gave this amazing storytelling piece.
What, 86 or something?
No, 52. 52.
Oh, okay.
The audience gave it a 44.
I mean, it's not that dissimilar, but wow.
Yeah.
I'm going with the critics.
Really?
52.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the audience, 44.
Yeah.
She-Hulk, everybody's favorite show, She-Hulk. Critics gave this thing a 79. Audience gave it a 34.
Audience.
This one's hard because I don't think it wasn't 34 bad, but it's not 79 good.
It's more toward the 34 than it is the 79. That's why I chose the 34.
Got it. I'm going to shock everyone here, and I'm going to go with the critics, dude. Yep. But now, if I actually at the end we'll give if we were scoring this. Number 3, Echo. Everyone's favorite Kingpin story.
Is this the bad movie series?
Yeah, oh yeah. No, I saved the good one for last. Echo. Critics gave it a 70. Audience gave it a 60.
Audience.
Yeah, I go with the audience. Ms. Marvel. Critics gave it a 98. Audience gave it an 80.
I go with the critics.
Really? I go with the audience. I really liked it. I don't know that it was near perfect though.
No, it's not about near perfect, but it's again just like with the other one, it's more toward the higher number than it is the lower number for me.
Got it.
So I've never rated a movie at 98.
Yeah.
But Ms. Marvel to me was definitely more toward the upward trend than the lower. So.
Yeah, I mean the Batman obviously 98, but like anything else probably not.
Sure.
Last but not least, Adrian, Frank Castle, The Punisher. This is the old Netflix series. Critics gave it a 65. Audience gave it a 78.
78 audience, dude.
Absolutely.
I would even take it higher than that.
Yeah. So, well, there's where we fall on what the fuck Rotten Tomatoes or critics versus audience, whatever you want to call it. But Secret Invasion, I'd give this show. I said audience, you said critics. Audience 44, dude. I'd give this show probably a 45. Like I think it was that bad.
Yeah.
The one that I wanted to She-Hulk, 79. Obviously, it's not a 79.
Right.
34. I don't think it's a 34. I'd probably give this show a solid 50.
That's the number I was thinking.
Okay. Which I guess is probably closer to the 34, so I should have said audience.
Sure.
But, I don't play by the rules on here, even though we're the ones that make the rules.
There you go.
Echo, 70 versus 60. I'd give this a 65. It wasn't horrible. It just was bad at times.
I'll give it a 50.
Okay. Ms. Marvel. So you lean towards the critics, 98.
Yeah.
What would you give this?
Probably like a 88, somewhere around there.
I'd probably go 85, so I'd be closer to the 80. And then Punisher, 65, 70. You said you go higher. What would you give the Punisher?
Probably around the same thing, 85, 88.
Yeah, makes sense. Cool. Well, you guys let us know where you fall. And shout out to our friends at Rotten Tomatoes over there. When we come out with our own, meter,
right,
they're gonna be out of business. It's just it is what it is. I just letting you know right now. So start packing your shit, Rotten Tomatoes. Pack all your tomatoes and get the fuck out. Just kidding. We're just kidding. You got to tell them you're kidding. People get all like, oh my God, they're like, can't believe they said that. It's just a joke. Everybody relax. Someone said this recently. It's like a couple bros just getting together having a conversation. That's all it is.
Right. We're not going to send a box of turds to Rotten Tomatoes.
Hey, that's a great idea. We can get Todd Philips to take a shit like he did on the Joker character and send that over there.
There you go.
But anyways. We had some requests last week, Adrian. People loved our top 5 MCU movies, and they said, "Well, why don't you give us top 5 animated movies?" And then someone said, "Well, why don't you give us the top or the bottom 5 MCU movies?" So I say we go animated movies first. Let's start at the top and work our way to the bottom. Okay.
All right.
So you got your list there?
I got my list. So
you have concepts of a list?
No, I have a list. The problem is that I'm kind of all over the place, so I have a top 3 of top 5 lists.
Oh shit! You're trying to complicate things.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Well, if they don't understand it, then it's over their head. You know,
it is what it is.
Well, Todd Philips, you guys don't understand it. It's not that we're complicating it. All right, I got 5 here, and I'll be honest. I mean, I'm probably missing some. There's so many animated movies.
It is.
So this is, and I'm going to say this in the beginning this time because a lot of people missed this last time. This list, I'm not saying that this is cinematically the best movie.
Right.
Of animated movies right now, these are my favorite 5 to watch. So it's more about a rewatchability. Like, I could throw any one of these on today and watch it no problem.
Absolutely.
So my number 5 is Batman: The Long Halloween.
Well, just go through your top 5 because I have several and they're not in any order.
All right. So my number 5, Long Halloween.
Yep.
Which I'm a huge fan of the comic, and I think they did a great job with that animated movie. It was a 2-part movie. Mm-hmm. Voice acting was great. I love the grungy art style. You know, it's kind of like, same thing with animated movies, like you say about comics. It can't look like something that was just colored in by hand in the 90s.
Right.
I with the technology now, I want to see some cool shit. Speaking of, Year One, that's another. I rewatched this movie recently. I forgot how cool this thing looked on screen. Like, it's same thing. Animation's great. This Year One, the difference between Year One and Long Halloween animated movies, the Long Halloween movie kind of put its own spin on the Long Halloween story. Year One felt like almost a page-by-page adaptation, which was cool. I think they're both cool in their own way. Sure. It's like, you know what they're going to say before they say it because I've read the comic so many times, which was cool. Long Halloween, it was different story, so it was a whole different twist. The Hangman, not the Hangman, I'm thinking of damn Penguin. That's Dark Victory. The Holiday Killer ended up being a little different than the comic, but there were some scenes that were like recreations of what you saw in the comic. So anyway, number 3, Flashpoint, the Flashpoint Paradox, or whatever that full, long, extended name of the movie is, but which is leaps and bounds and miles upon miles better than Ezra Miller's The Flash. Number 2, Into the Spider-Verse, just phenomenal movie. And then, number 1, obviously Across the Spider-Verse, which I say is the best comic book movie of all time still. Right. I've said that before. Matter of fact, I'm going to test you, Adrian, later. This is a little preview. I'm going to see if you still agree with that. But anyways, that's my list, dude.
So I have 3 lists.
Yep. Right? You got 8 pages of notes for one list.
8 pages of notes. So since all of your stuff is comics, I'm going to start out with the comics one, right? Okay. So in no particular order, I got, I forgot all about that. For some reason, I keep forgetting about the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse movies, but I'll add those 2. Okay. Those 2. But also got Batman: The Long Halloween. But also got Batman Ninja. Okay. It's a Japanese animated version really of Batman, right? Another Japanese animated comic book rendition, Iron Man: Rise of the Technovore. And Flashpoint. So those are the comic book movies. Got it. Now, what I call New Age, which is stuff that's coming out now or has been out for the last few years. These are mostly Netflix movies, right? Okay. You got Arcane, because the goal, we said comic book movies, right, or some kind of animated movies. Yep. So we're not just comic books. Oh, okay. So you took a little turn there. Took a little turn. Right. So we got New Age. So we got Arcane. It's like an old steampunk kind of animated movie. Love that. Blue-eyed Samurai. Okay. Not for your kids. No. Castlevania. Probably not also for your kids. Twilight of the Gods. Definitely not for your kids. Vox Machina. Also, none of these are for your kids, right. Basically. So, Arcane, Blue-Eyed Samurai, Castlevania, Twilight of the Gods, Vox Machina, right? Now, my last list, old school, Ghost in the Shell, not that horrible rendition that Scarlett Johansson did, but the first animated Ghost in the Shell, and then also, like all the spinoffs off of that, Ghost in the Shell, Recon, and all this other kind of stuff. So Ghost in the Shell, Akira, that's the old classic, Vampire Hunter D, Bubblegum Crisis series, and the new Ultraman, animated series. Damn, that's a hell of a list. That's my list, dude. I'm all over the place. I'm deep and wide.
But okay, that's what Diddy said. Now he's in jail.
No, Diddy said it was wide. Jake said he's deep.
Yes, definitely. So this is Only Comics, where we discuss comics, Adrian, and only comics. Mm-hmm. Obviously.
Yeah. Well, not only comics, apparently.
Sometimes some other stuff, you know.
when you bring baby oil into the mix, yeah, we're far and away from comics.
Clear something up real quick. See, so there's some spots here on this book. That's not baby oil, okay?
Dude, nobody even noticed that until you brought it up.
Just in case, because someone being that's coconut oil. It's different, okay?
Got it.
Yes.
Got it. No, same purpose?
No, because I did not. But before my lawyer shows up, I did not buy it at Costco. Okay?
Oh man.
But anyway, but yeah, this is where we discuss comics and only comics, and sometimes a little other stuff. But that's why this show is also called Fun with Mike and Adrian.
There you go.
It's probably a better name. Someone commented on the video yesterday, like, bro's yapping. I said, yeah, the third name for this show is Mike's Yapathon. You like that? Just get a sign that says that, Mike's Yapathon. But hey, you know what? We're the ones with the mics and the podcast studio. So guess what? We're the ones that are going to fucking yap.
Hey.
Right? So.
And if you don't like the yap, you can just click, swipe, turn, spin, whatever you do.
Turn your phone off. Get off your phone, you iPad kids. Anyways, worst 5, Adrian. Worst 5 MCU movies of all time.
Yeah.
This is I'm actually, last week I said I'm interested to see our followers, our fans, what their lists are. And their top 5s, a lot of them were very similar. It's funny as one guy was like, I lost all respect for your opinions. I said, okay, what's your list? Fucking dude took the same movies that I had and made them his list. So wait a minute, you don't trust our opinions because we agree?
Well, what he probably did was he probably took your list, put them on a computer, printed out the things on each each movie on a sheet of paper, rearranged it on the couch, took another picture, and then sent it to you. Well, it sounds like maybe he just. Same movies, just a different priority.
Yeah.
Instead of number 5 is number 2,
but to
number
say
3.
Something that drastic, I no longer trust your opinion. Then you have the same list. Like, well, then I don't trust you, then, dude. So, but I wasn't surprised by a lot of people's top 5. They're very similar.
Sure.
The worst 5, I'm very interested to see what people say about this. Because this is, there's a lot of things that could fall in here.
Oh, yeah.
So, you got 5 this time?
I got 5.
Okay.
And only 5
Okay, only 5. But you know what's cool about that list is I'm not a big anime guy. I know a lot of our viewers are.
Yeah.
So they ask a lot of times in the comments, like, what are your favorite anime? So, there you have it.
There you go.
But now, this is not anyone's favorite anything. These are the worst 5 movies that the MCU has produced in their 15 years of being in existence. So, my number 5 worst MCU movie of all time is Wakanda Forever.
I don't know how I keep missing these movies, but yeah, I won't say it's number 5.
Okay.
But it's definitely there.
All right. That'd be like your 6 if we want to say. Okay. So, what is your number 5?
I don't have an order, but I would say out of this, probably my number 5 is, of the ones that I have, Black Widow.
Okay. Wow, you hated that movie that much. Yeah.
Well, I didn't watch it.
Okay.
But I didn't watch it because it didn't seem interesting enough.
Got it.
To watch it.
Okay.
So I'm not able to evaluate it. But I did see these other ones. Well, except one other one.
All right.
So by default, they go at the bottom of my worst. Because there's some horrible ones above that.
Got you. Yeah. Number 4 for me is everyone's favorite, Eternals. That's just, I can't, dude. And before, what's wrong with Eternals? It's one of the best movies. But it's just fucking boring. Holy shit. It's so boring.
Mine was Quantumania.
Okay, I got that even higher on my list, but that's a bad one. My number 3 is Thor: Dark World, the second Thor movie.
Mine was actually Love and Thunder.
Okay, all right. I think you're going to like the last part of my list. My number 2 is Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. A fucking utter disaster. Just one of the worst movies that they've ever put together. Sad excuse for a comic book movie. And a complete waste of Jonathan Majors' performance as Kang.
Wait a minute, we talking movies or shows?
Movie.
Okay.
Yep. What's your number 2?
It would be Eternals.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Outside of it being boring, anything else you want to add to why it's so high on your list?
No, it's considering its potential cosmic impact. These Eternals, right? It was just disappointing.
Yeah.
So and that's really, which is what my number 1 is. It's just a complete disappointment.
Okay. Well, I can't wait to hear that. What do you think that if the Eternals was a show, they could have done a better job? Because part of it for me was the fact that you're introducing, how many fucking Eternals are there in the movie? Like 6 or 7 or something? Right. All these new characters, they're all dressed very similar, right? And we're supposed to care about these characters we just met. And you're showing this backstory, and then it doesn't mean anything because they're all like androids anyways. And it's just, it felt like so much stuffed into this. It's like, you ever see those commercials now for like Domino's? They want to stuff the crust with everything. Like there's fucking cheese and pepperoni and this and that. Right. It's like, dude, I get heartburn looking at that. That's what this movie was, like a double stuffed crust. It was just too much shit in there for me.
And not only that, not only were the backstories irrelevant, but they spent so much time in the backstory instead of the stuff that meant something, moving forward. And I think that it could have been like an Infinity War level impact on the movies that came after that.
Yes.
They could have done so much with the Eternals after that, but they just pooch screwed it, early on. So that's the disappointment part.
Yeah. But I honestly think if they made that into a show, introduced those characters into a series, not 6, 7 episodes, I think they could have done a better job of bringing them into the MCU. It just seemed like a lot for one movie.
Yeah.
There's a comic run. I forget. I gotta find this. I feel like I bring this up a lot here. When I heard about the Eternals movie like years ago when they was in production, I didn't know much about them, so I went and on my Marvel app. Here we go, promoting Marvel again. Can you give me a month free, maybe? Shit. But anyways, on my Marvel comic app, I found this Eternals run it's probably from 10, 15 years ago, and it starts off when all these Eternals are now living. I think they're all living on Earth, and they have basically forgot that they were Eternals. Something happened to them years ago, and then I won't spoil what happens. I actually don't really remember, so I can't spoil it. But it was a great story. They went from not knowing who they were, and I think one of them did, and that one was going around and kind of reminding them. And then obviously there's always a big threat or whatnot. But it was a cool story. It was like probably 6, 7 issues. And when I read that, I'm like, I hope they adapt this. And of course, they did some other atrocity.
Right.
But so that's your number 2.
That's my number 2.
My number 1 is your favorite, Adrian, the genesis of the Thor split itself. Thor: Love and Thunder is my number 1.
My number 1 was Captain Marvel.
Oh shit! Damn. Okay.
Number 1.
All right.
The reason is because Captain Marvel in the comics is such a powerful entity. I mean, not like, I mean, he's just a powerful guy with a lot of potential, and they could have done so much with that character. And to make it, this person that has no presence on the screen, right? Captain Marvel in the movies could have been just a suit, like an Iron Man suit, because it felt like there was a body moving around but no soul on the inside of it.
Damn.
So that's why I was so disappointed, because they made it, they took this powerful character and they just did shit with it,
Yeah.
So it's more disappointment of the movie than it is of the character. In the movie, because the character is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But the acting and the writing and the everything else, just not doing it.
Do you think that Captain Marvel was better portrayed in the Marvels than the first movie?
Well, I would say yes.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it was because she had less screen time.
She had some help. Yeah.
Right, and she also had some help.
Yeah.
But the solo thing, no.
Yeah. What's funny is it's just the way things work, right? Captain Marvel, I would say, is an inferior movie to the Marvels. Right. And that movie did over $1 billion at the box office, and the Marvels did like $16. I think like you, me, and our kids are the only ones who went to see it. You know, but I mean I think that movie, it didn't get the box office result that it deserved. It was not by no means is it the Marvels. By no means is it on like a top list, but it's not a horrible movie. It's
not a $16 movie.
No, not at all.
I think Captain Marvel was people showing up because of what they thought it would be. Yeah. And the Marvels was the result of what they saw in the previous.
Correct. Oh, Captain Marvel benefited, number one, of being, I think, one of the few movies released in between Infinity War and Endgame.
Right.
You just were you were craving Marvel so bad because of the Infinity War, you know, ending that you would have saw anything, dude. Mm-hmm. I mean, shit, Deadpool's dog could have had a solo movie. Oh, it's the fucking greatest thing ever, you know, like $2 billion. Which, no, please don't make that. That was a joke, guys. Don't make that movie.
That dog was so disgusting. Watch me lick my ass from my face.
And the fact that the tongue was real, dude, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But, hey, damn, Captain Marvel, number one, dude. I didn't actually talk about her power and how you didn't really see it done properly in the first one. One of the coolest scenes of the Marvels is when she regenerates the sun at the end. Like, she's in the freaking sun. Like, that's cool. But that's what that's what we should see from someone of that power. Right. You know?
Absolutely. No, they and that's kind of like the whole thing with these ultra, omega, superpower beings where they can't portray the power set properly. They only portray that properly because you could see basically a bullet going into a ball and then the ball exploding.
Right.
So yeah, you could do that, but the movement, the person acting inside the power, I don't think they did a very good job of that at all. It's almost like when the first CGI Hulk came out. It was like, dude, this is ridiculous.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely. Well, there you have it. There's our worst 5 MCU movies of all time. And as Adrian has pointed out in the past, that could change. That could change tomorrow. Sure. You know, I mean, who knows? I can go rewatch The Eternals and maybe it'll be my favorite movie of all time.
Or not.
Probably not. I'm just gonna go
I don't even know why you said that.
Most likely not. It's probably not going to happen. But let us know what your worst 5 are, and we can fight about it in the comments. You know, that's what we love to do here. So moving on. All right, Agatha All Along. You've not seen the last 2 episodes, maybe?
I didn't see the last one. So
last one. Oh, you did end up watching the singing one, the one that we didn't get through last week.
Oh my God! Yeah, that's why I didn't watch the last one.
Okay. Which, you know what? I got to retract some things I said last week because I was falling asleep when I was watching this.
Yeah.
So to me, it felt like they were singing for the entire episode. It really wasn't. It was the one song. But I kept waking up, they're singing, then I doze off, wake up again, like, what's going on? But I realized I was just, in and out of it. You know.
Well, they may not have been singing for the entire thing, but it was a long time.
Okay.
Dude. I mean, demons coming out at the ether, and I mean, it was just crazy.
Yeah. But at the end of that episode, Teen, as they're calling him, he asked Agatha what happened to her son because we still don't know what happened to Agatha's son. She had the empty room in her house, and I think in one episode she was accused of like giving her son to in exchange for power or some shit like that. But long story short, Teen doesn't know what happened to Agatha's son. Yeah, say that 5 times fast.
Right. And weren't they hinting that Teen was her son, or she was thinking that
she was thinking that?
But then the other chick told her
Rio.
That's not your son.
Correct.
Right.
I was like, bro, dude, relax, Agatha. You get all frisky. Calm down.
Right. Which she did a lot. In these shows. I mean, since the beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, walking across the street naked. Yep. I mean, and that just set the tone for the rest of them. Anyway, moving on.
People may say it's too woke. They're indoctrinating the children, Adrian, or it's just a naked girl. Relax.
Next thing you know, people going to be walking down the street naked.
Yeah. What's funny is I saw this. You saw this. Have you walked down the street naked since then?
I have not walked down the street naked since then.
Not even in my dream.
Not.
Why do you always have dreams. Everyone has them too. Like you're just somewhere naked. You can't find clothes, and it's weird. I don't know.
I'm
you ever had that dream?
No, I've never had that dream. No.
If you watch,
I've had dreams about zombies, werewolves, vampires, getting mauled by animals, but no, never naked.
Okay, all right. Maybe it's just me. Well, you guys let us know. You ever have the naked dream, or why is it just me? Anyway, I'm really liking Rio's character. And I mean, this ain't much of a prediction yet, because I think everyone feels this way. But I believe that she's Lady Death. Mm-hmm. That was a rumor we heard when this series first dropped, and it seems like they're getting at that.
Wait a minute. So Rio, right, the one that tried to kill her in the beginning.
Yep.
So, for the fans out there that have kids that think that if you watch stuff, your kids are going to transform into something, you probably don't want to watch this when they first got onto the road.
Oh, yeah.
Because wasn't Rio and Agatha it looked like they was about to get down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
They got a little,
so that was
feisty.
There was like an actual, moment.
Yep.
As opposed to Catwoman when she's just, her roomie.
Yeah. She called her baby.
Or something like that. But hey.
Well, you know what's
maybe
crazy?
It's too woke too.
I saw this, Adrian. I haven't turned gay yet, so
I might have paused it, at the moment. But
I wasn't upset about it either. I'm not like, why don't do that on my screen? No, it's like I understand that. It's all good. No one cares. Well, some people do, but
clearly.
In the next episode, the Salem 7, we see them show up, and they're like basically these zombie like witches from the original witch trials, I believe, and they're after Agatha and her coven. And I won't go through everything that happens in this, but they show the backstory, and I believe this is a flashback from WandaVision. Remember there was an episode in WandaVision where they showed the Salem witch trials, and Agatha was on the at the stake, and her mom was basically ordered these witches to kill her. Agatha absorbs all their power and kills all the witches. Mm-hmm. So this is kind of coming back to haunt her now, is what it seems like. And there's another trial in here. There's a house that they're in, and I'm going through a lot of that. I really just want to get to the end, which was cool. Alice dies. Agatha basically kills her. She absorbs her power, acts like it's accidental, but everyone thinks it's not. And when that happens, Teen, he lashes out. And he starts to show some powers coming out of his hands. So he's just been sitting there the whole time like, hey, I'm just this innocent kid trying to learn things. But he actually has powers. Mm-hmm. And he lashes out and basically takes Agatha and traps her in the mud under the ground. And everyone around, basically, he sticks them in the mud. So they're gone. And then he's standing there, and he's kind of got this like evilish look in his eye. And all of a sudden, this headwear kind of pops out, which resembles something that Scarlet Witch has worn before. Mm-hmm. And now this won't resonate with you, but maybe some of our viewers. Billie Eilish song, You Should See Me With the Crown, hits right at the end. It's a really cool scene. Mm-hmm. And the show ends with a snapshot of Teen with a Scarlet Witch type crown, which basically confirms that he is Wiccan, mm-hmm. Scarlet Witch's son.
Right.
So now there's all these theories. Is Wiccan the one leading them down the witch's road so that he could gain something? Did he trick Agatha? Who knows? So, right. The whole pitch, the whole story, the whole time made you think that Agatha was the one going down witch's road and going through the trials, but maybe it was Teen that was facing the trials, or Wiccan. And this obviously is going to have something to do with Scarlet Witch at the end. So I think they heard me. Remember last week I said I just want to get to the Scarlet Witch part?
Yep.
There you go. So it was a really cool scene at the end. I like the end drop, the mic drop. And funny thing is, I'm going to see Billie Eilish. I'm not going. My daughter's going to see Billie Eilish. I'm bringing her to see Billie Eilish next week.
Mike. Sure.
Yeah. But, dude, I was like, I sent it to my daughter. I'm like, you need to watch this show now. She's like, I think I might. But it was a cool needle drop, as they say.
Okay.
And it was fitting. You should see me with the crown. My man sitting there with the Scarlet Witch. Well, not her crown, but his own crown.
Was it any singing in this episode?
No, I don't remember any singing.
Oh, okay. Then maybe I'll go back and watch it.
But, dude, I liked it. And, I like the horror aspect. They used the Ouija board in this. There's, like, demons coming out of TVs and shit, and the coven, the zombies and stuff. But you're not a big horror guy, are you?
No, that's not horror, dude. Salem's Lot is horror.
Okay.
Horror. You know,
I think those all can be horror. That's like saying this isn't comic, you know? It's a comic. But I'm here for it, dude. I'm liking. I'm back on the Agatha train.
Any guy that likes the Power Rangers over Ultimate. I mean, come on.
Well, the Voltron ripped off the Power Rangers, Adrian. You know that.
Absolutely not.
But moving on. So Agatha, I mean, I'm going to take back a lot. And you've taught me this before, Adrian, that I could say something today, and I can change my mind later this afternoon.
Absolutely.
So I'm back on the Agatha train, dude. I'm back on Witch's Road. Let's go. Penguin, episode 3. Woo. You saw this?
Yes, sir.
I really hate that they do the show Sunday because we're a week behind here, you know, but whatever.
Yeah.
We'll manage.
We'll manage.
But Penguin, episode 3. Dude, great episode. Lot happening in these episodes. One of the big things is we see Victor's story kind of fleshed out. Mm-hmm. And this is just, I guess, just really good writing. We obviously know that this show is connected to the Batman.
Right.
Now, the Batman's not in this, which I think they've done a great job of having a show without Batman.
Dude, they've done a superb job of not having Batman in this movie. And matter of fact, the only thing that connected me to this, and I'm sure they did that on point, was when they did the flashback and the flood.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I've seen this a little bit. I think people are just trying to be funny, but they're like, oh, Batman's not going to intervene in any of this stuff. Dude, there's nothing that would have hit his radar yet.
No.
Like, Gotham, I think people forget how bad of a place Gotham is.
Right.
This is normal shit for Gotham.
Exactly.
So, think about what had to happen in the movie. The mayor was killed, and then Batman was involved. He's not going to get into the average petty thief, you know, moving drugs.
Right.
There's too much of that going on.
Yep.
So I think it makes perfect sense that the things that are happening here, they're not even on Batman's radar yet.
Not at all. Not at all.
I would assume that it builds, because this is episode 3. There's 5 more episodes. I would assume it's going to build to something that eventually will get on his radar to then lead us to the next movie.
Sure.
But it does not. I don't hear that critique at all. Batman's not involved. He would never get involved in this shit.
No.
But it fleshes out Victor's story, which I thought was really cool. Because I mean, Penguin is not a hero at all.
No.
But he's the main character.
Sure.
And Victor is the one, you know, it's like you almost feel for Victor.
He doesn't almost feel for Victor. He definitely feels for Victor.
No, I'm saying as a viewer, you
feel for Victor.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Like this dude, I mean, and it goes back to the Riddler who, and it also shows the flaw in his plan because his idea was to, you know, ruin life for all the rich people and attack the rich, corrupt politicians and all that shit. But just like a lot of cities, a seawall, I mean, it reminds me of almost like New Orleans a little bit.
Right.
Seawall breaks, and who gets hit the worst?
Of course.
The poor.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Victor's whole family's dead.
Right.
Just he happened to be hanging out on the roof because that's what you do in Gotham, you know.
I guess.
Nowhere, you don't want to be out in the street. So.
Well, not only Victor's family, you know, many others, plus his girlfriends.
Absolutely.
Right? Gone.
So he's a straight up orphan, and it's like, dude, I mean, he gets caught up in this shit almost with no choice almost.
Right.
Because, I mean, look where he lives. There's nothing around. And then Oz does feel for him. Like, I like the scene where he pays him. Like, we never talked about your salary.
Right,
just $1,000, you know?
Yeah. He's like, something about you got to ask for what you want. I want $2,000.
Yeah.
No, but,
no.
There was a lot of good, back and forth like that throughout this movie. I loved it.
Absolutely. And, dude, it's like every episode leaves you on this cliffhanger.
Right.
Because starting with the ending of episode 2 made you think, well, Sophia and Oz, they're going to be, you know, a dynamic, almost like me and you, Asian, a dynamic duo.
Yeah.
And then by the end of this one, you're like, oh shit, they're not.
This is there's going to be some repercussions.
Yeah.
But Penguin seems to be enjoying himself.
Absolutely.
We're in it now, buddy.
Yep.
We're in it now.
We are, yeah. Dude, it's, I mean, I can't say enough about Colin Farrell's portrayal of this character. He absolutely owned it. And it's like, you know, there's all this talk about who's going to be the big villain in Batman 2. Well, I'll tell you who better have a huge fucking presence in that movie is the Penguin.
Right.
And the Penguin's a Batman villain who I think is, I wouldn't say underrated because I think a lot of people understand how important he is, but he gets left out a lot,
right?
Like in conversations because you always go to the Joker, the Two-Face, and Mr. Freeze. But Penguin's, I mean, one of the top Batman villains in history. He's always there.
Yeah, there was an animated movie about the penguin, how he became. It started out with Bruce, like in Antarctica or something like that. So yeah, penguins in there, dude.
Yeah, I like how they set up Luca. They literally show up in the room.
Dude, is Falcone's wife? She's just like a. I mean, for Oz to just come up to her.
Yeah.
And basically tell her to do this. I don't know what he said to do, but it didn't seem like it took much.
Right.
And boom, she's there. I mean, this dude's the boss's wife with the second in command. I mean,
yeah. Well, he probably told her, like, if you don't do this, I'm gonna tell. Like, you're hit, and that's the last thing she wants, right?
Well, so she do it again,
of course,
and now in front of the niece. Come on, dude.
Yeah. That was sick.
But, I mean, the girl that got up from the table, I mean, if you looked at her, you kind of tell the mentality of his wife. So, whatever.
And I mean, a big piece of this is, they have this new drug that came from Arkham.
Right.
Which Sophia is used to. I mean, she's been on it when she was in Arkham. Right. And it's like a controlled substance. It's something that, I mean, not to keep bringing up the Diddler, he'd have loved this shit.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's what he was using allegedly anyways,
I mean, he would have aerosolized this shit, so you don't even have to bother with licking it or whatever. It'll just be in the air freshener and shit.
He'd make it into incense and shit.
Exactly.
Yep. So, anyways, it's like, I mean, Gotham.
Incense and R. Kelly.
There you go. that, ladies and gentlemen, is the other stuff.
That's the other stuff.
That's the other stuff. And there's this little subplot with Victor where his, girlfriend or whatever girl he likes is leaving Gotham. Right. Because she's lost her family too. Gotham's a wreck, and she wants him to go with her. Right. And he's afraid to tell Oz.
No, that's not how it happened.
All right.
She was leaving anyway.
Yes.
And she offered during the conversation. So you got to think about this. She already had a plan.
Yeah.
She already had some place that she was going to, right? Probably already planned out a life. Yep. Because you know how that works with women, right? By the time they actually execute, there's already been 6 months of planning behind it, right? So it just so happened that they got caught up in a moment. And just like he said, buy me a ticket, he got caught up in a moment. Yeah. She probably got caught up in a moment and said, oh, well, you can come too. So even though she was disappointed at the end that he didn't go, she was already planning to go. Right. So I absolutely think he did the right thing.
Oh, yeah. And, at first I think he confirmed what a lot of us thought. Like, he felt like he was being held captive almost. Yeah. Like, as much as Oz was helping him out, and trying to build him up and paying all this shit, but it did seem like, bro, if you leave, I'll kill you.
Right.
Because of what you know.
Exactly. He's thinking the typical gangster, the typical mobster. I know all this shit. Yep. I've seen all this shit. I've been involved in all this shit. If I leave, there's going to be some serious consequences. Consequences.
Once you're in, dude.
Right. And Oz is like, dude, leave.
Right.
Leave.
Yep. Which he does. He takes his car.
He takes his car.
And he shows up. But I think then he sees he was raised poor. And I think I'm thinking he's looking at it like, I could go with her. And he saw all the other poor people getting on this bus, right? Like, and essentially have the same life I used to have. Right. But just in a different place. Because you're not going to just leave and all of a sudden you're rich. Don't work like that. No. And then he's like, or I could stay with Oz. And he's thinking like, dude, he gave me $1,000 last week. Like, he's going to be paying me every week. The more we do, as much as it's corrupt, this is where I'm from. Fuck it. Let me just go back.
Right. And that conversation in the bathroom was, in some aspects, I think a man should have that conversation with a guy that's growing up. It's like America is a hustle. Yeah, it's the land of opportunity. It's not the land of giving. Right. You got to make it whatever it is, and that means you got to go after it. Yeah. So, your father, they did the toast to him at the table. Great man for what he was, trying to do. But your father lived his whole life and at the end was disappointed. And he died not being at his full potential. Correct. You have an opportunity now to make a change, to make more money than your father ever made. So nobody, what do you say? Nobody celebrates anybody from the projects? Yeah. That's it.
Absolutely. I mean, just hit him straight, And what's cool is, like, as messed up as Oz is, you said this earlier, he cares about Victor as much as he's going to care about someone. I mean, it's all relative.
And the thing about it is that he's sitting at the bar after Victor left, right? He's brooding, and we've not seen that for anybody in the previous shows. This dude is sitting there sulking because this kid left him.
Dude, he blasted Alberto Falcone, a few minutes into the first episode and didn't give a shit. And that's someone he's known and he's part of this Falcone family by extension.
Right.
He blasted my man because he pissed him off. Yep. But yeah, to your point, Victor, kid he met a few weeks ago, he's literally depressed over him leaving.
Yep.
And then we get the end scene where, the Maronis show up. Shit is hitting the fan, dude. Sophia and Oz, they're making the deal. And the Maronis show up out of nowhere, call him out, expose Oz for working both sides, essentially. And, dude, right in the nick of time, just in the nick of time, as they say, Victor comes through and fucking runs over the hitman with Oz's car.
Yep.
Oz hops in, and he's like, what about Sophia? And he's basically like, yo, fuck her, let's go.
Right? That with the exposure and the fact that he left her and the fact that the deal really is with Sophia with the the Chinese gang, right?
Yep.
So they're gonna be looking now. Oz is the distribution per se,
right?
He's the middleman, but I think she can go around that. So I think he kind of screwed himself. Well, I think he kind of screwed himself.
Yeah.
But also the thing I love about Oz is that even though he's disfigured, distorted, things like that, the way he looks at people, the way he interacts with people, and I love the fact that, and I don't know if they do this, if this is just a natural thing, or if there's something that they do within the camera, but you know how the Penguin in the comics has these little beady eyes, and Oz always has this little light in his eye. I love that effect.
Yep.
Whether it's natural or not, I love that effect. Yeah. But when he's talking to you, he talks to you like he's beautiful inside.
Right.
In his mind, he interacts with you like none of this stuff exists, dude.
Correct.
And you can see that presence, which I love. And that's the part I talk about with, if RDJ can do that with the Doom costume, or what Bane should have done in Batman, you know. So he's projecting outside of that costume, and that's amazing.
Dude, I tell you what, Matt Reeves, my man's cooking, bro.
Yeah.
You got the Batman. You got now the Penguin, the first spinoff from this. We're only one movie into this universe of his and 3 episodes of the Penguin, and it's like, dude, I don't remember being more hyped for what's coming. Because with Marvel, it's been around a long time now, right? It's kind of hit. It's at the point where they've done so much, you don't know what to expect.
Well, I know what they expect, and what I think is happening is that they're finally getting some traction on what comic book movies are.
Yeah.
They're not PG-14.
Correct.
These are adult characters in adult situations.
Right.
And it needs to be portrayed like that.
Yeah.
And by adult, I don't mean all this sex and all this other kind of stuff. That's just a part of it.
Right.
But, Batman getting the shit beat out of him.
The level of violence.
And has to take drugs, or Daredevil. Yep. They have to recuperate because in their mind, they're down long enough and they're going to do whatever they need to do in order to get back into the fight.
Yeah.
And these guys and the Penguin and the show and all these interactions and stuff, it's crazy. It's chaos.
Right.
And it's supposed to be that way. So I would expect moving forward that they've kind of gotten based on the response from the community. Oh, we love this because the Penguin's got all kind of reviews.
Absolutely.
Dude. Makeup and Colin Farrell's portrayal. I mean, up to now, who the fuck is the Penguin?
Exactly. Right.
So it's almost like you said, they taking a B-level character.
Yep.
Or in this case, the Penguin was like a C-level, right? So you got Batman's the A-level character. You got the Joker and the Riddler and these people, and then you got the Penguin down at the bottom.
Right.
So they're going to take this character, right, and just bump him up.
Yeah.
And that's what they've done. So this show has given, Colin Farrell, in my mind, restitution, kind of like, RDJ restitution.
Right.
And they're just going to propel the Penguin into something else, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be amazing.
Absolutely. And it's like he's doing this with the Penguin and one Batman movie so far.
Right.
As Ryan Reynolds, or as Deadpool said to Blade, let this man cook. Right. Let him cook, dude. Give him some more shows. There's a rumored Arkham Asylum show. Let him do it. I literally, based off what we've seen so far, I trust Matt Reeves with anything Batman related. I don't want to say more excited, but the MCU, we've seen this for so long. We're getting towards the end of this.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm excited for what's to come and wrap up, sure. But from a new, I don't remember being more excited for a cinematic universe compared to how I am about this Batman universe right now with just these two projects.
Right.
Because to what your point, it feels adult. Even the Batman was PG-13, but, bro, they walked that line.
Right.
I mean, cool things like he's bashing this guy's head into the steering wheel or whatever, and they just blur the screen so it's not too graphic, but you know what's happening.
Right.
When he shows up in the mayor's house and beats him to death with the damn carpet tool,
right?
You know what's it's you tell a story without it doesn't always need to be blood and guts on screen,
right?
But it's adult tone, mature tone.
Exactly.
And obviously this being on, Max, this is full on adult.
That's it.
But they set that tone with the Batman. So, dude, let him cook up some more shows. Can't wait to see the end of this trilogy. But Matt Reeves, dude, my man's cooking.
Yeah.
He's the opposite of Todd Phillips.
Right. I'm actually, with this portrayal of the Penguin, because we've always been used to the, short, stubby,
Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito,
which was great for his time.
Which was great for his time.
Yep.
I would love to see what Matt would do with Matt, like we're on first name basis.
Yeah,
right?
Of course we are.
I would love to see what he could do with like Mr. Freeze.
Yeah,
his version of Mr. Freeze.
Yep.
That would be awesome, dude.
So many. I mean, Mr. Freeze. Even though we've seen this already, I'd love to see his Harvey Dent story.
Sure.
Because I think he would flesh it out so much better.
Yeah.
I mean, and I can't wait for more of what he brings, for this story. And I mean, tonight we got episode 4, which last thing I'll say about the Penguin, I saw some early reviews of this episode 4, and supposedly it's the best episode of the show. So
damn. Yep,
we're in store for something pretty nice later, Adrian. All right, moving on. We respond. Got a handful here today. The Dark Dad returns. Okay. I don't know what that means, but he says that, what's up, Mike and Adrian? Well, what's up, Dark Dad? You guys have some of my favorite takes on comic book movies, except Battinson. All right, easy, dude. He's too small and not, I'm not even going to read that. I'm not. Well, no negativity.
Well, you sound offended, man. What's up?
I'm just kidding. He says he's too small and not intimidating, in my opinion. That's fair. You can have your own opinion. With that being said, in honor of Batman's 85th anniversary, I think that the Arkham games have the best depiction of Batman, and it would make a great movie or trilogy. Who would you cast in an Arkham City movie as Batman and Joker? All right, so you've not played the Arkham games, so no. I'll take this one, Adrian. I'll take this one for the team. I love the Arkham series. It's a phenomenal these games have a good feel. Like the Arkham Asylum one, you're literally in Arkham Asylum for the entire game, basically fighting trying to catch the Joker. Joker gets admitted to Arkham Asylum intentionally, and he has this whole plan where he basically takes over the asylum. I'm summing up a lot. But it's a great game. Arkham City is where there's a prison, but they take a city and turn it into a prison. So a good chunk of Gotham City is a prison. So, and you're Batman, you're stuck in there as Bruce Wayne. Alfred kind of, pin drops you a suit, of course, and then now you're Batman stuck in Arkham City. You get poisoned with this Joker like Venom thing that's killing you, and you got to get the end. But another great story. Kevin Conroy does the Batman. Mark Hamill does the Joker for both of those. Arkham Knight is there's an actual Batmobile in this. They tell the Red Hood type story with Jason Todd, but instead of Red Hood, he becomes the Arkham Knight. It's a different character, but they do. But phenomenal. But so his question, who would I cast? Here's the thing. I want to see a jacked Batman on screen at some point. I would cast Alan Richardson, the guy from Reacher.
Yep.
I think he's he's older. He's jacked. He has the look. Dye his hair. I think he has more blondish look. Dye his hair. But he's got the chiseled jaw. He's got the big presence. My man's like, what, 6'2", 6'3", maybe? Yeah. He's a solid, and he's older, so he can play that older Batman. Like, hey, James Gunn, there you go.
Right.
Joker, I don't know. There's so many people that could play Joker. Yeah. Not so many, but You know who I think could pull it off? He's a little older though. Is William Dafoe, Green Goblin. He has that look.
Yeah, he does, but I mean,
he's older though.
That's ancient, dude.
Yeah, that and I mean, I don't know, the Batman one, Joker. I think they could surprise us like they did with Heath Ledger.
Yeah, but I wouldn't want to see like a who'd you just say?
William Dafoe.
I wouldn't want to see a William Dafoe aged Joker with a year 2 Batman, if that makes sense, or whatever, even middle aged, because that'd be like
he's too old.
Yeah, that'd be like like the middle aged Batman, but you got Alfred's dad,
right
in the scene. I don't think it would jive.
Yeah, well, I guess here's what I would say. I want it to be someone who has the body type. No, the tall, lanky. We were joking a while back about Andrew Garfield. He has the Joker body type.
Yeah,
like he probably could pull it off. As crazy as that sounds, he's a phenomenal actor.
I would see him better as a Joker than a Spider-Man.
Damn. Okay. Well,
I'm just saying.
He's rumored to be back for like 3 movies, by the way, as Spider-Man. So, all right. Next up, Broman Williams says, "Hidden gem, Blue Marvel, please." This actually has been requested a handful of times.
Really?
Blue Marvel, yeah. So you can add that to your ongoing list of 87 requests. But the Blue Marvel, Cowboys for Life, 917. These guys are the only people I know with this opinion. Everyone I know loved him as Bane. So he's talking about, the little Bane. Well, I'll tell you this, Cowboy for Life. You should meet some more people then, because I feel bad for you that everyone you know loved Bane. Because everyone I know, everyone sitting at this table, fucking hated it. So Alex 00 Leon says, Bale over Adam West. Well, yeah, obviously. Now the Bat
Where did that come from?
We were talking about the Bat voice, and we were talking about Batman on here. But,
sure.
Like, are you really that surprised that we'd pick Christian Bale over? I mean, Adam West was great for its time back when there was like no movies and shit. And
exactly.
People, everything was still in black and white. And
there you go.
They didn't have cars. Anyways, A1 Winter Soldier is easily one of, if not the best overall film in the MCU. I guess I won't be watching these guys anymore. First of all, if you don't want to watch this because we don't like the same movies, I'm surprised you've been here this long, dude.
Right.
Like, holy shit. But that's not why I brought this up. There's a lot of people that feel that way. Winter Soldier. Mm-hmm. I love that movie.
Sure.
It's a great movie. But I'm surprised by the amount of people that say that that's the best MCU movie of all time. Does it surprise you that that's a good chunk of people who feel that way?
No.
No?
Nah. I mean, we have our opinions.
Sure.
They have their opinions.
Yeah.
Now, the thing that surprises me is that, I'm not going to watch these guys anymore because, you don't agree with what I agree with.
Yeah, that's
whatever, dude. That's ridiculous.
You know what, A-Treble? I'm not going to read your comments anymore. How about that? See, hey,
there you go.
Two can play this game, bro. Right. I don't read your comments anymore. There you go, buddy. But, I mean, Winter Soldier, if I would include it in my top 10.
Sure.
I wouldn't put it that far up because it's just a cat movie. When I think of MCU, I'm thinking everyone,
Yeah.
I loved it, though. Kendrick Loves SR says, I disagree with almost every question. So this is funny. These comments were literally like 1 and 2. Kendrick Love says, I disagree with almost every question. Will Tab 85 says, I agree with all that.
Wow.
That's just like TikTok in a nutshell. But the reason I point that out is both are fine.
Sure.
It's okay. I hope that, yes, we talk about comics, we joke, we have fun, we talk shit. I do hope you learn a lesson from us that it's okay to disagree with someone, and you don't have to be upset if someone doesn't agree with you.
Right.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Right? Which right after our Hidden Gem, we're going to have agree to disagree, so we're going to demonstrate that live in person. So that's a good little segue to Hidden Gem.
Right. No, it's just that these people, it's like they're one spilled coffee cup away from being a serial killer. It's like, come on, dude. I mean, the more you're exposed, right? You're going to be exposed to more different opinions because everybody has one.
Right.
So the real answer is if you're unsatisfied with other people's opinions, just lock yourself in a room. Don't interact with anybody.
Right.
Yep. I'm just saying.
There you go. So, anyways, moving on, Adrian. You've had a lot of requests lately. Hidden Gem has been heating up lately, dude.
That's the way it works.
We got a new one, Blue Marvel. So you added that to your list of 97. You'll be good for like the next year, bro.
That's it.
But who did you pick, dude? Of all these suggestions, who'd you pick?
Actually, this is kind of one of my favorites.
Okay.
There's a lot of emotion wrapped up in this because it involves my boy Nick Cage.
Okay.
So Ghost Rider.
All right, Rider fan suggested this,
yeah, exactly. So this week's hidden gem is Ghost Rider. Now, so I just want to point out something. So we got a lot of comic book history, knowledge, opinions, so on and so forth. I mean, you're younger than I am.
Yep.
You're sitting up here with a laptop.
Yep.
You can do all your stuff interactively, immediately, so on and so forth. I print all my shit out.
Right, yep.
So I'm just saying.
It's a little different.
A little different. But anyway, Ghost Rider, right? Debuted 1972. Now, what I didn't know, I knew that there were a few Ghost Riders.
I didn't realize he was that recent.
Yeah, I thought he was older too. Now, the character is that recent. Ghost Rider goes back to 1 million BC. There's always so Ghost Rider is basically, it's like a spirit of vengeance that can occupy a body.
Yeah.
And there's been many. There's like 4 going on right now. Danny Keach, Alexandria Jones, Robert Reyes, and then you got, Johnny Blaze, which is what most people think about when they think about Ghost Rider. So basically, with the Johnny Blaze version, he was a stunt motorcyclist and his stepfather was ill or something, so he traded his soul to save his stepfather, right? That's basically how he became that. Well, these other characters, the ones that came after Danny Keach, Dan Keach is actually Johnny Blaze's sibling. There was a sister that was involved. There's a mother that was a Ghost Rider. You got a 1,000,000-year-old Ghost Rider. You got who else? Alexandra Jones, a Nicaraguan woman. There's a police ex-cop. They're just all over the place. That is what I did know before all this research, right? That there were just so many stemming back from 1 million years ago all the way through. So it's basically like Dr. Fate. Dr. Fate is a entity that inhabits a body. Yeah. Ghost Rider is vengeance, right? And it can inhabit a body, and you can incur that spirit different ways. In this case, Johnny Blaze, he made a deal with the devil, who was actually a anti-devil, Mephisto, right? Okay. Who ended up giving him that power. These other people, there was incantations.
Sold his soul, right?
Exactly, sold his soul. But not to the devil, but Mephisto, which is like a little D, I guess you would call it, or micro D or whatever. Damn. Okay. So, all these Ghost Riders, they basically have the same thing. They are protectors of the innocent. Specifically, a lot of it is women and children. There was a Native American in Rider who protected Native American women and children back in the early 19th century, 18th century, something like that. So it's a long list of Ghost Riders. It's not just one. Got it. But they all have the same theme as far as what they do. They have a basic power set, which is they turn into this bone and hell flame. And hell flame basically is it burns your soul, not your flesh. It doesn't leave any physical damage behind, right? So Johnny Storm, his powers were basically he could lift about 50 tons or 50,000 pounds or something like that. He turned into this Ghost Rider entity. At first, he would just turn into this flaming skull, the skeleton, and he could turn his bike into the Ghost Rider bike. Well, then it morphed into, his whole outfit changed into this studded black leather thing. He can not only turn his bike into a hell bike, but he could conjure up a hell bike, and the bike itself could defy all laws of gravity. You could ride across water. He can go up vertical walls, all kinds of stuff, right? Well, when you get into this Danny Keach version, he looked a little different. Yeah, went right to the clothes transformation, and this is where you first see the chains come up. Okay. So the chains that he wore across his chest, and he could command the chains. And the chains were, he could make the chain like a spear, or he could use it as a chain, like whip it around. He could break the chain links apart and use them like mini grenades, right? Yeah. So things like that. Later on, Blaze got powers to where, and they also had this, what do they call it? It's some kind of glance. I'll find it here in my notes in a minute. But they had this glance where if they locked eyes with you, they can inflict upon you all the pain that you've ever caused everybody in your life.
Damn.
All at once.
Instant karma.
It was considered like, even in one storyline, Ghost Rider did that on Galactus. So you can imagine how many people Galactus had killed, right?
Yeah.
Billions. So he was able to subdue Galactus with this stare because, you know, he goes around just killing worlds, you know, billions at a time.
Yeah.
So you can imagine all the stress that he went through. So ultimately, Johnny Blaze, and so it was Johnny Blaze, then there's Danny Keach, then it's Alexandra Jones, then it's Robbie Reyes, then Johnny Blaze came back, then you got this Michael Baldolino. So you had like different versions of, like if you look at a Ghost Rider page, that's probably 50 Ghost Riders on them. And they go all the way back from Ghost Rider with a woolly mammoth as a steed to the Western days where it was a horse, then it was a motorcycle. I think this Danny Keach guy, he had a hot rod, like he had a muscle car, like a Dodge Charger or something, right?
Yeah.
So instead of a motorcycle. But all these weapons, you know, could do all these different things. So when Johnny Blaze came back, they wrote him with a combination of the powers from his original stuff, you know, the strength and the motorcycle, but also with the chain from Danny Keach. But then they added he could project hellfire from his throat. He could project the chains from his throat. He can project the chain from his chest. You know, he can always shoot the hellfire from his hands, things like that. Doctor Strange classified him as one of the most powerful superheroes on the planet because of all of these features. Probably because of that stare. I mean, being able to look at somebody and inflict upon them because you first of all, you're going to immediately stop. So it doesn't matter how much power you have. You could be Superman. You can lift planets, split planets open. You could be Gladiator. You can obviously be Galactus, right? You lock eyes, it's a done deal. Damn. So if you've inflicted
some Medusa shit, bro.
Exactly. You can. I mean, inducing the pain that you've inflicted on anybody all at once on you, I can imagine this being some pain, right?
Yeah.
So I was just surprised by the amount of other spirits of vengeance. Naomi Noble Kale, Ghost the Rider. That's the 1 million BC guy. He actually, even Odin was back in the day with that. It was like a prehistoric Avengers Odin put together.
Yeah.
It was Odin, Lady Phoenix, the Black Panther from back then, Iron Fist from back then. So a lot of these characters, they're also very old, right? Or there's versions of them from the past. So if you think Black Panther, his father was the Black Panther, his father's father, and his father's father's father, and keep going back, that kind of thing. The enemies he had was pretty crazy too. Out of this whole list, there's probably 20 of them. You know how Batman has a bunch of enemies, right? Yep. So I'm looking at this list, and none of them I recognize except for Dormammu and Lucifer and Mephisto. But then you got like Aqueduct, Black Rose, which actually was Johnny Blaze's wife. Blackheart, Blackout, Centurion, Deacon, Deathwatch. I'm like, who are these people? So you got this character with this whole, you know, laundry list of villains, and this is what makes a person like Ghost Rider a hidden gem, because not only is the character itself a hidden gem, but you know, we hear about the Penguin and Lex Luthor and all these other villains, but you got a whole 2 pages of people that you never even heard their names before, dude. So a lot of stuff that could go on in there. So I just thought it was a good recommendation for a hidden gem. I mean, it's a deep dive because it's not just one person. Right. You're not just talking about a Victor Von Doom or Tony Stark or Reed Richards. You're talking about over millions of years, literally. This spirit of vengeance has existed, and it can inhabit a body. And, you know, at night when there's somebody's being, you know, treated wrongly, Ghost Rider will appear. So very cool hidden gem. Great suggestion.
What was there a feat or an accomplishment or something that when you did this research you read about Ghost Rider that was most impressive?
Not a feat per se, but everybody knew that he was singularly out for justice for the innocent.
Okay.
Right? And the fact that spirit has existed for as long as it has. It's not like he went up against somebody. I would say the Galactus thing, where he did the stare to Galactus, and failed him. So I would say crazy. That was as a crazy feat, right?
Yeah, I would agree. So the stare again.
Yep.
They lock eyes.
Yep.
And if I'm Ghost Rider
it's called the penance.
The penance.
Penance stare.
Okay. Any pain that you've inflicted on other people in your life is you now feel it, right? Essentially.
Yep. Hitting your kids, beating your dogs, killing the cat.
Dude, imagine
all of that.
Imagine if Ghost Rider locked eyes with Diddy.
Come on, man.
Anyways,
first of all, he had to wipe all the baby oil out of the way. He's like, "What am I looking at?
Yeah,
what am I looking at?"
I think baby oil might be flammable too. So
there's that
probably. But anyway, of all the different Ghost Riders, is there one that's the most powerful?
They have what they portrayed is that they have similar power sets. I would say either the Johnny Blaze one, or the Danny Keach one.
Okay. And I think the last thing, when I hear you just if I didn't know it was Ghost Rider and a lot of things you were saying about his origin, I would go, that's very similar to Spawn.
Yeah.
Right? Makes a deal with their version of the devil.
Mm-hmm.
Now Spawn is now undead or whatever.
Right.
When Johnny Blaze sold his soul to Mephisto, is he now dead?
No. I think it's literally like Dr. Fate, where you're a body walking around because he interacts with people.
Got it.
Day, night, it doesn't really matter.
It's like Moon Knight with that. This entity is part.
Exactly.
Or Venom and whatever.
Right.
Got it. Dude, I think a cool fight would be Spawn and Ghost Rider.
Dude, all the mysticism.
Yeah.
Funny
too, they both have chains, right? Like Spawn, I think, always had the chains. Dude, when I'm reading that, here's your answer, Marvel. Yes. What am I saying yes to? You guys got this movie coming out in a few years, Secret Wars, and there's going to be some cameos.
Right.
Throw Ghost Rider in there.
And this is the one time I actually wouldn't mind seeing Nick Cage.
Exactly.
Because he's the one that brought it to screen. And he did a
CGI
pretty good job. Right.
And he's old enough anyways, you don't have to put a lot of makeup for him to look dead. This is how he looks, So anyways, but yeah, I mean, I hear that, I go, let's bring him back, dude.
Yep.
Because they did these Ghost Rider movies, I mean, before they had computers, I think they did it all on paper, like you,
sure.
But I mean, they were early, they were very, they didn't have the tech they had now.
Right.
Now he couldn't interact with other characters. Mm-hmm. It was just Ghost Rider. But I think perfect time to bring him back, at least for a cameo, like they did with Blade.
Right, and also, I mean, this time of the year is the perfect time to bring it back because it's kind of horror, it's kind of Halloweenish,
spooky season,
spooky, mystical kind of thing, dude. I mean, get your boy Matt Reeves on that too.
Yep, absolutely, yeah, for real. Just give it all to Matt Reeves, So
right.
Anyway,
Matt Reeves and the Russo brothers.
There you go, and no, not Todd Phillips.
There
Just
you
go make more Hangover movies or something.
Shit. Or don't stop with that.
I mean, I'm not going to watch them. At least you'll be out of the comic,
Right, exactly.
So, great hidden gem, Adrian, as always. So, be interested to see who's on deck for next week, dude.
There's a lot, dude.
You got a lot to pick from.
Yep.
I was scrolling through YouTube. There was another Blue Marvel request last week, too. So, that's might be top of the request line right there.
When you said Blue Marvel, my first thought went to Ed's boy.
Oh.
Blue Marvel.
Yeah.
I'm not Blue Lantern.
Blue Lantern,
right?
Yeah.
Which I had never even heard of before then. And comes to find out, speaking of the Lantern, green is probably the least powerful.
Really?
They pussies, man.
Damn. Fucking green guys, All right. We're going to wrap this up, Adrian, with a little agree to disagree. This is a lesson for a lot of our friends out there. I'm going to throw out some opinions of mine. They're opinions. They're not facts. They're opinions, but they're all right because they're mine, obviously.
Sure.
And Adrian's going to let me know if he agrees or not. And then you guys, most of y'all, are going to cry about it in the comments. And that's okay. That's all right. Just get tissues and just have a cry fest. Or Justin Timberlake used to say, cry me a river. That was before he had the DUI and the whole deal. But, dude, I mean, who cares? He's Justin Timberlake.
Sure.
Yeah, whatever.
Sure.
What does that have to do with this? Nothing.
Nothing.
All right. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right. Number 1. Directors who are not fans of comics should stop directing comic book movies.
Definitely.
They should be banned.
Absolutely.
No more.
Absolutely.
Matt Reeves' Batman universe is already better than the DCEU.
Absolutely.
Yes. So as my man Ryan Reynolds said, let this man cook. He wasn't talking about Matt Reeves. I'm talking about Matt Reeves. Let this man cook.
That's it.
This is a prediction, Adrian. Doomsday and Secret Wars will top Infinity War and Endgame.
I would say that's hopeful.
Okay.
I do agree.
You agree? Think I'm
but
right?
Hopefully, yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm hoping to, but I think it will, dude.
Okay.
I really do. Number 4.
Yeah, but we said that about Deadpool and Wolverine, too.
What?
Where are they, actually?
They at 1.3.
Okay, we said 1.4.
Oh, I'm not talking box office. I mean from we're going to look back
like
and go, impact, these are going to be above.
Got you. Okay,
You agree?
Yep.
All right. She-Hulk was better than Secret Invasion.
Yeah,
okay.
Sadly.
The Marvels was better than Captain Marvel.
Agree.
Year 1 is the ultimate Batman origin story, but it's still not perfect.
Agree.
Winter Soldier is not the best MCU movie of all time.
Agree.
Nick Cage needs a Ghost Rider cameo in Secret Wars.
Agree.
Why hesitation?
Well, I mean, Secret Wars is going to be everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally everybody.
Got it. We got to have Nick Cage back.
It's almost like you can't. The pause was you can't exclude anyone.
Okay.
Really.
Oh, so you're just saying, hey, everyone's got to be
exactly.
Okay. All right. I'm with you. And
but sure, if Nick Cage shows up specifically as Ghost Rider, cool.
He's got to be in it. Don't leave him out. Don't leave him out. And yes, Marvel, if you're right. Kevin, don't leave him out, dude.
Right.
Everyone watching should pause this. Everyone watching on TikTok should pause this video and go subscribe to our YouTube.
Agree.
There you go. And then come back and like this video and drop a comment. All right? So, do you across the board this week, you agree. I don't think that they're going to agree across the board this week. So,
but that's okay.
It is okay. We welcome it. Bring it on, you know. Anyways, another fun week here, or fun day here on Only Comics. Taking this thing home, as they say. Hit the subscribe button if you've not already. If you like this episode, go back and watch some more.
That's it.
We had a hidden gem every week. You like this hidden gem?
Yep.
Go check out last week. Check out the week before.
Or the year before.
Or the year before.
Was it a year before? It's been
dude,
a year.
It's been a year, dude. It's been over a year.
Wow.
Yeah. This is episode 78, Adrian.
Nice.
So 78 times we came in here and blessed you guys with our greatness. You know, I feel like Eminem said, I feel like I got bit by a goat, Adrian.
There you go. That's a stretch, but
That's okay. Anyways, but guys, we appreciate y'all checking in. Adrian, thanks for coming out.
Absolutely.
And you know where to find us every week right here on Only Comics. We'll see you next week.